Right, guys, because you're all, well, I'd say a lot of you are here right now. I'm going to get that website command for you. If you want to have a look, it's nothing amazing yet. It's just a plain old coming soon screen, but bookmark that website and keep your eyes peeled, because eventually we will have a full launch for it. And I will be announcing when there's a full launch, don't you worry. I will be telling you all on Discord and on the Twitter and on the stream. So Discord, join our Discord, tag us out with and hear any announcements. And that's true. I tend to only put announcements on Discord, not on Twitter. So if there's anything like a stream cancellation because I'm ill or an emergency's happened or something's gone on and I want you guys to know about it, it'll always go up on the Discord. It won't go up on Twitter. And thank you for the follow, Phil. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. And the reason for that is because Discord is where all the community is, really. I have a lot of followers on Twitter who aren't really in the community, so it doesn't really feel relevant to post that sort of information on there. But I know that everybody who is in the Discord are people that come into the streams. So if there's ever any news about streams or anything like that, it'll always go on there. The cool cats are in the Discord. Yeah, and that's where we always chat and hang out as well. I use Discord more often than Twitter. Had to delete the Discord app. Oh no, you had to delete it. I actually use the web browser page of Discord a lot, more than the actual desktop app. It's probably not as good, but it's quicker to get up. So, lots of cat photos in the Adorable Pets channel. Yeah, post all your pets. Post them all. If I had pets, I'd be posting them all for sure. I'm petless at the moment. Well, that's not true because I do have fish, but they're not mine. They're in the pond outside and I think they've died. We haven't seen them since last summer. They're hiding. They hibernate in the winter. Okay, guys. So as you can see in the background, we have some icons. That's what we was working on yesterday, and we've kind of done all the ones we need to for now. This stream, we've been focusing on user interface this week, but this stream's going to be a bit of everything. It's going to be a bit of bits and bobs, bit of discussion, bit of tidying things up in the game because it's quite messy at the moment. Needs to be a lot of tidying up and sorting out to do, putting things together, making the quest trigger, the objectives at the right time. Yeah, there's just a ton. I've got a massive list of bits and bobs, but next week will be, I'm going to try and put effort into focusing on skills next week. We'll have a week of skill discussion and creation next week. And I'm very excited. I only use a desktop app because the web version I've found iffy for voice chat, and that's true, Asriel. I've had to switch to the app when I have gone on voice on Discord because it like cuts out. It's really weird. So yeah, so when I have to do that, I do switch to the app. But if I'm just using Discord casually, I tend to just have the browser page open, and that does the job. I'm going to open up PG Maker MV now. We don't need Photoshop open today because we're done with our icons for now. I might do a little edit of some of them today if I feel I need to. But for now, we don't need to. So I just out a bottle and Coke cooler at work, Rose Ramblin'. So due to what I said earlier, just want a drink. Oh, I want to have a drink too. I've got lipstick on today though, so I don't care. Can't really drink from my water bottle because it gets all over it. I mean, the context of tidying things up in Rose's game, yay! Well, guys, I want to discuss those things I mentioned. I've given you all a teaser about some thoughts of the game, so you're probably curious what on earth that's all about. So there's two things. And both of them I thought I got the idea yesterday. The first one is, well, let me explain, because some of you might not exactly know how Raindrop Chronicles looks visually, but we do use a full screen for Raindrop Chronicles. RPG Maker MV by default is a little box, similar to how Undertale is. Like, sometimes pixel old school games are in they're in a small box rather than full screen, but I changed Raindrop Chronicles to a full screen because I felt it would be more immersive and it would be nicer to have a full screen, basically. And maybe I'll have to do some setup for people with different screen sizes at some point. Maybe that will be in the testing phase before episode 1 comes out, but I do like how it looks visually for this game rather than a small box. But because of that, one thing I did notice, because we increased the screen to full size, is that the pixels tend to be a bit on the small side. So somebody in chat yesterday said how good the game looks when it's zoomed in double. We currently do use the zoom double when we do cutscenes in Raindrop Chronicles. But so when somebody mentioned that it looked good, I agreed, and it's kind of made me think, what if we use the ×2 zoom permanently? Because it feels a bit cozier, seeing things bigger, a bit more immersive, and it's a little bit more clear. And it doesn't ruin the detail either. The detail's still pretty decent. The sprites just look bigger, and the tile sets just look bigger. And I did a little mess around last night to see if I could get it working. I've got a plug-in and I tested it and it works fine. I had to make a few adjustments, but it's doing its job. So we just have to make a decision whether it's a visual, if it's a good visual decision to make, to switch from the normal smaller little pixels to a double size. Yay, I'll be back. Gonna get breakfast. Enjoy your breakfast, Fantasia. You mean windowed? I don't even know. I'm not very good at explaining all the techie stuff, but we are going to do a test play, so you'll be able to see it then, at least. I'll probably show you guys how it looks when it's smaller and how it looks when it's zoomed in, so you can see the difference between the two. So we can do that now. And there's another thing I want to chat about too, and I'll talk about that after. Well, once we've decided this. There's a plugin called Responsive Resolution, which may aid your efforts with that. It's probably one I've got. I mean, the full screen is working perfectly. Let's have a look at which one I've got actually. I mean, it's all working fine. I've tested it all, no bugs or anything. It's just whether we want to go ahead with that decision, really. Whether people prefer the look of that 2x zoom to the original. Because it's full screen, I think it personally looks better. The smaller sprites are cool when it's a box, but because we're at full screen, it actually suits it more, in my opinion. Yay, Akira! Thank you for the Twitch Prime. Didn't hear the alert go off again. Need to fix that. Just keep saying I need to fix it, but I keep forgetting. How are you doing, Akira? Let's have some hype for Akira, please, guys. Our little legion in Raindrop Chronicles. Let's have some hype for that Twitch Prime. That is 7 months now. Akira, good job. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you've been well. Thank you all for the hype. Okay, so, right, have I got my plugin thingies up? Let's have a look. I've got a full screen one here. I think, is that the one I'm using? It's confusing what I'm actually using because I do use Yanfi's core engine and I set the screen height and width in there. And I also have that as well, but it works. That's the good thing. I don't know how it will look on other screen sizes, but this game's only going to be playable on desktop anyway. It won't be on mobile or anything, because it's just not going to work on there. It'd be too hard to set up for mobile. It's such a small screen size, I'd say. So we're going to be keeping this for desktops only. And most people have the same monitor size as me, but some people have laptops where the screen's a bit small, so we might have to consider the option for people to change the resolution at some point, but we'll see how that goes in the testing stages. Once episode 1's at a good standard and it's about, we feel like it could be released, we'll move on to testing then, and all that will be dealt with in the testing phase. And I'll probably have a few of you like as play testers as well, if you'd like to be when the time comes. Hi Hodel, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Played a lot of Destiny 2 recently. It's hard to sometimes keep your stream on, but today seems good, so we should be fine. Yeah, just pop in whenever you want, Akira. Just so you know, we are going to be having a skill week next week. We'll be talking a lot about skills, enemy skills and player skills. So we'll be focusing on just the warrior, the hunter and the vampire though. And I'll look at your sheet, what you've wrote down so far, and that might give me a little bit of good ideas as a starting point. Even on desktop there's a quick few resolutions, whereas most are 1080p. Yeah, and I'm tech stuff and all that is my weakness, so I'll probably be relying on you guys to help out with things like that when the time comes. But I don't want to think ahead too much, because I don't want to think about the testing too much yet. I want to do all that when we get to the stage. When we get to that point, if we have to have a mess around with changing stuff for different screens, then I'm sure it'll be fine, because I'm sure there's an ability to do that sort of thing in RPG Make, like have a options screen where you can choose your resolution stuff, because that's what games generally do, isn't it? We'll see. I mean, I have no idea how this game would play, how I've set it up on a laptop screen. I don't know if it'll automatically resize into how it should. It might, but it might also look messed up. And I don't own a laptop, so it's really hard for me to test unless there's some sort of way I can turn my computer virtually into a laptop and test it that way. I have no idea. But yeah, I kind of am curious, because it is something, of course, that we have to consider. The Linux playtest for BH is upon Raindrop Chronicles Discord. Yeah, if you guys want to be a playtester for Elite's game, be sure to let him know. I'd love to do it myself, Elite, but the only problem with me is time. I'd love to be a playtester, but I might struggle finding the time right now to fit the time in to play it properly. But I would very much like to be. I'd be a terrible playtester, because I probably wouldn't get much play time. I don't even get time to play other games at the moment. I've started Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age and I haven't even got past 5-hour mark on it yet. I've not had any chance. We'll check it out now, but turn events. I'm on my Windows machine, as I was doing a bit of gaming today. So what did I miss, Akira asks. We've been having a user interface week. We've been doing a lot of dialogue, a lot of cutscene stuff, done the quest journal, we made some pretty icons for it, and we're getting it all, the journal all looking good and working and triggering at the right time, and just putting things together, making the game playable basically, rather than just have bits that don't link together. So yeah, we've been linking it all up. Want to make sure it works from the beginning to the point where Rose joins the party, because we've got to the point now where Rose joins the party. We've just finished that cabin scene where Rose gets taken out the cage. She gets let out of the cage and she joins us, and we're about to take her to the first boss to be sacrificed. But she won't die, because there'll be a twist in the story, no doubt, that'll let her escape. Do you know what resolution MV natively exports to? Never mind, I'll look it up. Pixar is picking about scaling. Yeah, I'm quite aware that there's probably going to be a bit of messing about we're going to have to do, guys, for screen sizes and things like that. But at the same time, I don't want to have to hold myself back and not be flexible with what sort of visual look our game should have. Part of me didn't want to stick to the default resolution for MV, because I'm not really a fan of it. My personal opinion, I'm not a fan of the default resolution of MV. It would be a lot easier to stick to it, because then there's less work involved if I did stick to it. But now I'm like, I want full screen. I want full screen, please. And yeah, it's true that the sprites do look smaller at that full screen size, and since I've zoomed in twice and tested that, I think it looks really nice personally, and because it looks really nice in the cutscenes, and it actually works quite well when it's like that all the time. And at first I didn't think it was going to work, because I thought, oh no, there's probably going to be a buggy, a plug-in for a permanent camera following the player. But it's actually not. It works quite well. Which one is it that I downloaded? It's one called MBS Map Zoom plugin. That's what it is. So basically it's really simple. It's just a default zoom ×2, and it follows the player, and the player is centered on the screen, and it follows him as he walks, and it keeps that ×2 zoom. But the UI is all the same. Like the size of the UI remains the same. The only thing that doubles is the sprites and the tile sets and the parallax maps and those sort of things. And yeah, because the UI wouldn't look good if that was zoomed in too much. It'd all look too big. And so I want to do a test play to show you all anyway, because I'm very intrigued what you think. And if you've been around in the streams, you probably know how Raindrop Chronicles looks. You probably realise it's a full screen game with tiny sprites, and I want to see what you think now we've got the ×2 zoom in. Happy 50th stream, just popping by to say hi, Kung. Thank you for your Discord post, Kung. The second thing I want to talk about is related to the journals and the icons and maps. So we'll be talking about that very soon as well. And Kung gave a little bit of feedback on what she personally likes with games that do that sort of thing, and I really want to discuss it because I think I have a pretty interesting idea that might please a few of you, and I kind of want to discuss that now, but I also wanted to play test and show you the ×2 zoom. But I think I should mention this now, to be honest. But yesterday we were having a discussion about journal features in RPGs, and you know, when you're given directions clearly, and whether people like that, or like what sort of games they are inspired by and what they prefer personally. It seemed quite mixed. I copied and pasted a few things that people said, and some people said that they don't like to get lost in games, so they like clear directions so that they don't get frustrated, and I'm personally like that. But there was also the opinion that some people don't like quest markers because they don't feel as immersed, and they'd rather find quests themselves rather than have to follow a marker. That was another, I think, was that you, Azrael, that said that? And I think both points are very fair. And it made me think about having 2 different game modes that the player is offered right at the start of the game. The first one would be where UI is all visible, the map, the directional indicators and quest markers. And another mode would be like a blind mode, like super hard immersive blind mode. Where there's no quest markers and you play the game blind, and that the people that hate that sort of thing and like play the game without following directions could play that mode, and the people like me or other people who like to have markers because they don't want to miss things in a game, because I'm the sort of person that's like, oh, I don't want to miss any quests, I've got to get them all, and I love markers for that reason, so I can get all the quests. But other people are like, no, I don't want to follow markers, let me find the quests. And they get more of a satisfaction if they find the quests themselves, and if they like that immersive approach. And you get the best of both worlds if we have 2 game modes, you see. Like, we please the people who prefer things to see things and follow directions, but we also please the people that don't want to have that. So, and see, exactly, Cheese likes to follow clues and not have a marker, and I'm like the opposite of that personally. I love my marks, I love my quests. So I wouldn't want to sacrifice my needs to please others and have a game that appeals to the people. Like, I want to please everybody. I want everybody to be happy. So having like 2 game modes like this seems like the best solution, and it'll be quite easy to do as well, because literally all it would involve, as far as I'm aware, is a switch. Like, each icon and each visual indicator could be attached to a switch, and it's as simple as either having that switch on or off depending on what game mode you're playing, I guess. That's the first thing I can think of to how to get it to work. But you'd be given that choice at the start of the game. Like, in every game you have, like, do you want to play easy, normal or hard difficulty? You usually get given that choice, don't you? And in Raindrop Chronicles we could have, do you want to play so-and-so mode, or do you want to play blind immersive super hard mode? And it'd have, like, it would give you a description about what each of those modes are, so people know. And you can say, yeah, I want to play that blind mode, I don't want the UI. And then you would have all the icons hidden. You probably even had the map hidden. We'd have to discuss whether it would include hiding the mini-map as well and the on-screen quest journal, because we might decide to have it all gone. You can still have access to the journal in the main menu, but all your indicators, all your hints and all your stuff could all be gone. We'd have to discuss exactly how far we want to go with that, because some people might think, no, just get rid of all the markers but still keep the mini-map up. We'd have to do a vote and see what people think. But yeah, and you could change in the menu. We could have options to say change game mode in menu, if that's possible. I'm sure RPG Maker can let you add own menu options. And so we could, if people like regret the decision and think, oh no, I actually want to play the game with the icons now, then going to the options menu and changing the mode could be possible. I can't promise that, but I can try. But for sure it'll at least ask you at the start of the game which one you want. Anyway, let me catch up with chat because I've been rambling. That's a good idea, Raz. Yay, thank you, Kung and Azria. Yeah, just make them adjustable like in Skyrim where you can turn them on and off. Yeah, because currently our mini-map is attached to a hotkey. But I kind of want to expand on that and have it as actual game modes rather than just a simple toggle of the hotkey. Because, you know, it's just tidier as well. And it's going to be more than just a turn off of the mini-map. It'll literally turn off all indicators and all UI for the people that prefer to not play that way. Rose, I'll post a link on the playlist on YouTube. It's all about screen resolution and scaling for pixel art games. Later in the playlist are specific to GameX Studio, but first one is generic. It's playing very well. Thank you, Atsuriel. Yeah, feel free to post that and I'll have a look after the stream. My wife loves loads of added UI in Skyrim, but I remove everything, even the compass. See how different people are? That's exactly why I think this game mode thing would work well for Raindrop Chronicles, because as somebody, I'm like your wife, I like the UI. I'm just such a nerd for getting every single quest. I'm very OCD about that, and you know, I'd hate to miss a quest. I have to have the UI for those reasons. But some people don't care. They're like, I don't care if I miss a quest, I just want to find them myself, because I feel more immersed that way, and that's very fair and a very fun way to play a game. I'd love to challenge myself playing a game like that too, but it's hard for me too because I'm just such a nerd for the UI. But I did find something quite interesting online that relates to this topic of discussion, and I'm going to find the image and show you guys. So I thought it was pretty cool. So let me find the image. I've got it on my phone, but I haven't got it on my computer, so I need to make sure I can find it. Okay, yeah, I found it. Give me a moment, it's loading. It's been a slide coach. You would not even need a complicated switch system, just have it either on or off and design the dialogue in a way that accommodates both styles. Yeah, just some settings to turn sections of UI on and off. Yeah, guys, I might need you an idea. I might need to write, if you want to like write a little mini tutorial for me to how to work, that would be wonderful if you wish, guys, because I do it in a really complicated way, I won't lie, because I'm not a coder or anything. So usually when I do what I do in this game, it's probably the really complicated way more than likely, and I'm sure there's definitely ways out there that can be simplified. So if you ever like, if any of you ever feel like just giving me a little brief instruction thing on how to set that up, I'd be very grateful for sure, because it'll be something I'll be starting to do. Now we'll have to think of cool names for the mode, because the first one I can think of for the non-UI mode would be blind mode. I want to give them like really badass names, because The Witcher 3 do that with their game modes. They've got Death March and things like that, and that sounds really badass. Death March difficulty. Death March difficulty in The Witcher is literally just hard, but Death March just makes it sound super badass. Hi Living on Edge, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. Okay, so I've got this image, let me find it. It's a little bit pixelated actually, but I think you'll be able to see it. Oh, it's a bit pixelated. Is there a clearer image? Have a peek. Yeah, I don't think there actually is a clearer image, but let's get it up so we can look at it together. And OBS doesn't like my Chrome window capture sometimes. Okay, so basically, I saw this online and it compares Morrowind to Skyrim. And this is basically what we were talking about with the two game modes. It seems that Morrowind is very much like a minimal on the UI. It doesn't have the markers. And you have to you're thrown into the deep end and you have to find things yourself, basically. And a lot of people yesterday were saying how much they love Morrowind. Whereas me, I haven't played Morrowind and I've only played Skyrim, so I always look at Skyrim as the example, but I really should play Morrowind, so I've got another example of a game. I've got it, actually I had Morrowind, so I can play it. But Skyrim does it very differently. That has the quest markers and yeah, it just does, it's more heavy on the UI, which I personally love. Like this really has like a negative opinion on it, this little image does, but I see nothing wrong with people that enjoy having quest markers in games. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's the way some people play games and like to play games, like me and like Elite's wife. We like that, but it's also really cool if you like to play it without that as well. And so I just want to introduce the ability to play it both ways, really. And because it's not going to be hard to do, like we've said, it's probably quite easy to set up. It feels worth it. If it was something that was going to be really time consuming and like take months to set up, then fair enough, I might have to just choose one out the two. But because it's something that's very simple, we can go for it and have two game modes, and then everyone can be pleased and play the game how they want to play it. And I suppose there's a replayability factor in it too, because somebody like me would play it with the UI at first, because I'd want to play like that, but I'd also want to try it without, because out of curiosity and for immersive reasons. So yeah, I'm doing well. How are you? I'm doing good, Edge. I'm very excited and having a lot of fun working on this. I hope you're doing good too. Fast travel is pretty immersion breaking. Hold on, is it me or is the sound and image on the stream desynced? Oh, what's that? You mean the stream's messing up? What's happening, guys? Have I got some tech difficulties today? Morrowind did have fast travel system, no? So it lies. It's lying. It says that there's no fast travel in Morrowind. How dare they? I think it's more of a transport than fast travel. Only towns. When I played Skyrim, I actually did disable fast travel, funnily enough, because I love exploring, so I actually did disable the fast travel. I do love quest markers. I'm a nerd for that, but I am also a nerd for exploring, and I'd rather not fast travel. As for our game, we're only in the Everbloom Forest so far, so we haven't gone to new places yet, so we haven't even considered the concept of fast travel yet. But when the time comes and we've explored more of the world, we'll probably start considering how to handle fast travel and things. And we'd probably do it so that the mode that has the UI has fast travel, and the mode that doesn't have the UI, you have to just walk there. I don't know. We'll talk about it, because things like this is things we'll decide together as a community for what works best, and how hard the blind mode that we're going to have in Raindrop Chronicles really will be. And we'll think about it, because there'll be a lot to consider. You cannot travel anywhere, only to towns. Well, in Skyrim you could fast travel to any previously explored place, whereas in Morrowind it was only set to locations. Hey there. Hi Sol, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Fast travel to Carol. Asriel is going to romance Carol. And Morrowind, it was only from a specific platform, not from the menu. It's all clear. Yeah, I'm glad, Akira. Yeah, I'm sorry it was playing up for you. If that ever happens, guys, just give Twitch a refresh. Sometimes it's not an issue on my end. Sometimes it's Twitch's fault, because I do know Twitch has been a bit of a silly lately. Well, I'm off for the movies with the family. Take care, my friends. Have a nice weekend, and again, happy 50s. Thank you, Kung. I appreciate you. Have a good day, and thanks for hanging out and popping by. So guys, so after that conversation, what are your thoughts? Do you think I've made a good decision having the ability to have 2 different game modes that you're offered at the start of the game? Like, it'd be when you've done your custom hero. It might be like during that little sequence, we'll have a pop-up that says, so do you want to play it on Death March? Well, it won't be called Death March, because that will be copying The Witcher. But you know what I mean. You'll be given the choice then, and it'll just give a brief description on each one. Okay, so yeah, basically, the mode that hides the UI will probably be more like Morrowind, and the one that doesn't will be more like Skyrim and the general MMOs that like WoW and Final Fantasy 14 that do show the quest markers. Are there any other games that go for the Morrowind thing that you know about? Because a lot of modern games seem to have the quest markers from what I've seen, and you have to mod them. You have to use a mod to hide a lot of the UI in modern games. What's the website? Oh, we've got a website, Command Kermit, and we've just got a coming soon screen right now, but it will have the full launch probably sometime in November. I can't give you a date yet because it'll all depend how it goes, but the main thing is that I want it to look really cool for you all. So, if you want something awesome, you might have to be a little bit patient. Yay! But it's got all the social media links in there, and it's got a pretty background and pretty logo. Terra Nigama. Yeah, I can't. Did not have markers either. Okay, and that's one of the games you like, isn't it, Cheese? Because I remember you mentioned it. I'm not going to write it down. Didn't have markers, and I've wrote it down because it's going to be very useful to have a look at these games. Even if I don't play them, I'll watch a let's play of them or something and see how they do it. We got away. I teased you all. I lied. I was like, website's up, and you probably expected something really all done and ready. But yeah, so it's it'll all be worth it in the end, Kermit. You'll see. I'm gonna get a really badass website up. I don't want a crappy quick one. I want a good one. FF11 has not quest markers, yeah. So, yeah, it seems like the older games tend to not have them. Because FF14 does. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. So, chat, which mode would you play? I'm curious which one you'd be playing. Would you play the one where all the UI is hidden, or would you play the one where it's shown? Because as you probably have noticed, this week especially, it's been a UI week for us, and you've probably noticed that I've been putting a lot of effort into having a lot of indicators for Raindrop Chronicles. Well, I'm planning that anyway. I've done the little question mark symbols, I've done the arrows that are going to go on the mini map. I've got the enemy icons as well, because you see the little red dots on the mini-map where the enemies are. And all that stuff is all subjective personal preference for me, because I like games like that. So I was considering myself when I was designing all that. And but then when you guys started talking about how you didn't like markers, that's when I thought, yeah, let's have mines, because yeah, I do want to sacrifice markers, because some people love them. Like, I was speaking to Rex last night, and he's a nerd for quest markers as well. So he'd play Raindrop Chronicles with the quest markers. Hi Neffel, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Are you having a good day? Hidden personally, yeah. Asriel, I knew that you'd be one to play hidden, because you were the one that made me think of the idea. Because I copied and pasted what you said, and I read it properly last night. And you basically made the point that you don't like, you get more like sort of rewarded when you find a quest yourself, not because you followed a directional icon or a marker. And that's very understandable, for sure. And I'm quite excited now that we're going to have two different modes, and because it's going to give a very different game experience, isn't it? Raindrop Chronicles will be very different when it's played without the markers. I like turning off markers because it makes unmarked stuff more is that a typo, or is that a word I've never heard of before? I still play RPGs by the old rules, one save off and talk to everyone. Yeah, you guys are old school, and that's cool, because all the good games are the old school ones most of the time. Cool. Sorry. Oh right. Okay. Yeah. And then like when you haven't got the quest markers and can't see them, and you find something, you're like, yay, I found it. But then there's people out there who are like really impatient, and they're like, oh my god, I'm lost. I'm quitting this game now because there's no quest marker. And that's fun, because I'm a bit like that. I get lost easily. So yeah, I'm glad that we're going to be appealing to two different types of audiences, and it's definitely hard to please everybody, and we're not going to please everybody all the time. There'll be times when we have to just pick the game to go a certain way. But in the case of this, where it's very simple to set up, it just seems like it's a very cool thing for us to do. For example, with what I said earlier about having the 2x zoom, that will be something we can't please everybody with, because some people might like the smaller sprites and some people might like the bigger sprites, and it's just visually a subjective preference, isn't it, what people are going to prefer. And when I do the test play in a minute, I might have people in chat say that they prefer the small sprites, and then I might have some say they prefer the big ones. So that will just fall down to me to make the final decision then, I guess. You know, it's one of those things, but yeah. Going through Skyrim, there's lots of little things I never noticed until I turned markers and the compass off. I started using the horizon and landmarks to navigate. Yeah, it's like a totally different game experience, isn't it? It'd just be so different, and it feels more like you're thrown into the world, doesn't it, as well? Like you're actually living in it. More realism. So it's definitely the realism mode when you have the UI turned off. I really want to think of cool names, some cool names for the modes. I don't want to just call them non-UI mode and UI mode. That's boring. I want to give them really catchy names like Death March mode, or you know, That's just copying The Witcher again. But you know, something that's linked obviously to what the mode is. But there'll be a description of what it does. So even if the name of the mode isn't clear, the description will make it clear. Okay, so I can cross that down out now. There we go. So yeah, I found that last night, that Morrowind and Skyrim image, and I thought, yeah, it just shows like the older games are different to the newer games in that example, and some people aren't always a fan of how the newer games do things. But I'm glad it'll be something super easy to do, for sure. I just set every icon up on a Switch, I would, and then have it so you either have the Switch on or off depending on the mode that you're on. But you guys say there's an easier way to do it. That's the easiest way I can think of, for sure. That sounds like fun. Yay. Tyranny a long play for future. Thank you, Cheese. I'll copy and paste that and put it in my notepad file. Okay. Oh, hang on a sec. Saved. It really is. I highly recommend getting Sky UI. You can make the compass toggleable too to resemble looking down at your hip. Does the game resemble Morrowind more when you play it that way? It makes me wonder if I'm going to like Morrowind because, like I said, I like my UI. So I'm wondering whether Morrowind will be something I get frustrated at. But yeah, I know it's meant to be a really good game. Okay, so anything else I need to talk about? So I've mentioned they're having 2 different modes. I've mentioned the 2x zoom. Also, I added a new parallax map plugin. What gave me the link yesterday, but I'll just explain so you all know. We used a plugin called Bind. I think it was called Bind Pictures to Map or something like that. And I was using that for my parallax maps, but there was a few issues. There was a lot of lag. It sometimes would take at least 20 seconds to load the parallax map in when you transition screens, and I was like, oh dear, we don't want that. We don't want to see the wrong parallax map when we transition. And so yeah, that was a problem. So I recently mentioned that, and somebody gave me a link to, where is it? Orange Overlay. This is it. And it does the same job as the other parallax map, but it's probably going to be better and not have the little buggy issues that the old one had. So it took me about an hour to get the hang of that last night when I set it up, but it's all set up now and all the parallax maps are working as they should. There are mods for everything, mods that make Skyrim like Morrowind and vice versa. They're both great games in their own right. Honestly, it comes down to preference. Yeah, and this is why it's so cool that we can have these 2 game modes in Raindrop Chronicles, because people can play it their preferred way. And it makes you think, why didn't Skyrim have it as default, where people could turn off the UI? Why is it a mod? Why isn't it in the vanilla? Maybe because there were 2 layers there. Because it's easy enough, isn't it, to turn off the UI? It's not like it takes months of coding to do it. And okay, so yeah, parallax map plugin change. And the other thing I wanted to say, if we do decide to go with the 2x zoom, there's a couple of things I need to sort out, but it won't be too bad. It'll be worth it. So we're going to do a test play now, a no sound, a muted test play. Save changes to game. I'm thirsty. This lipstick's actually quite good. It doesn't get all on my water bowl, so I can still drink out of it fine. Okay, so I made another character called Butt. I said to you we were never going to create Butt ever again, because we said we'll stick to Jesus, but I did him in this to play test. because that is the character you end up with if you just press enter all the time in the custom character creator. You end up with him. Okay, let's load. You're gonna see it look a little bit different now. It's zoomed in, but everything works. There's no bugs. And if you remember how it looked last time, it looked very small. It was like but all the UI remains the same. And at first I wondered if it was going to work properly. I thought if it zoomed in, well, the player's 100% centered and we can still reach the edges of the map completely fine, so it works. This looks great, thank you. I personally prefer it, and I know this is a subjective thing. Some people here might prefer the smaller pixels, but I really like the cozy feel of it being zoomed in. And the pixel quality hasn't been deteriorated either. It still looks decent, if you know what I mean. And it probably doesn't look as good on the stream as it does for me playing the game, because it's always going to look better in full screen than how it's going to look on a Twitch stream. But it looks really nice, and you can't see as much of the map anymore. You can't see as much as the Everbloom Forest as you could. But that's also a pretty cool thing too, because sometimes you don't want to see all the map, do you? It's a bit too much. There's too much for the eye to see at once. With the mini-map to navigate, I like it being closer to the hero. It feels more intimate. When you get too small, it feels more like chess. I agree. It just feels a bit like you're looking at too much. There's too much to take in of the scene because of it being full screen as well. If it was a small box like the default resolution of RPG Maker, it wouldn't matter so much that the pixels are smaller because there's less that's showing. But once you make it full screen and it just becomes too much. So, and I didn't realise that until I changed it, and I was like, I like it so much more. It's not like I didn't like it before; it was passable. But I think it, like you say, it's more cosy, more intimate. We'll feel more like friends with the characters now because we can see them bigger and there won't just be tiny little dots on the screen. There's more room to make things more exciting, like because we have a bunch of cool facial expressions as well. We got a sprite sheet of loads of really cool facial animations. We use that really weird looking face for the Fiona when we pushed her in the lake. Having it be zoomed in makes that us able to do stuff like that more often. But we were zooming in for the cutscenes anyway. How it is now is basically exactly how it looked for the cutscenes, but it also stops it being a bit jarring because sometimes when it was at the normal sprite size and zoomed in for the cutscenes, sometimes that can be a bit distracting if we keep zooming in and out in the game all the while. So keeping this at just a permanent zoom, it stops the game being jarring when we're switching between cutscenes and the field map, if you know what I mean. And hi Cornelius, how are you doing? It's good to see you, but I'm glad you're here, Elite, to give me a bit of feedback on this, because I was very intrigued to hear what the community thought. And although we haven't got loads of people saying their feedback at the moment, I'm still very confident that this is the right approach. I'm just enjoying walking through the Everbloom Forest a lot more as well than I was before. Because when you could see the whole map at a smaller size, it just felt a bit overwhelming as well, because you're like, holy crap. And it's true, you've got the mini-map anyway, and that tells you where to go and shows you the map. But if we're going to have immersive mode, the mini-map might be disabled in that mode. I haven't decided yet. That's something we'll have to decide together. We'll probably talk about what's going to be disabled in immersive mode. Because some of you might like the mini-map but think, I like the mini-map but just not the icons. So keep the mini-map but just get rid of the icons. But you might actually think, no mini-map at all. Just blank screen like this. Like that is true immersive mode, isn't it? With zero icons, nothing on the screen to tell you where the quests are or anything. Then, yeah, And same with the question. I mean, I forgot to go to Nigel to get the quest from him. But we have a little on-screen overlay for the quest, and that might be disabled in immersive mode. Maybe you have to actually go in the journal to see your quests in immersive mode. That's just an option. We're going to see what you guys like best for immersive mode, because you'll be the ones playing immersive mode as Real and Elite, and the rest of you, Cheese. I think Cheese said he prefers immersive mode as well. So I'll definitely be asking for feedback on what you believe should be disabled and what shouldn't be. But we might just disable a lot of it to make it just super, super hard. Did I miss the exciting news? Yes. Well, we've been discussing and rambling on about it, really. We're still kind of talking about it now. Basically, all it was discussion about having game modes. We got 2 game modes in Raindrop Chronicles. Either immersive mode, where all the UI is hidden, no quest markers, no directions on the map, no indicators of where the enemies are. Because as you can see, we've currently got little red circles that show where the enemies are. There'll also be like little question marks on the map and dot arrows to show where the quests are that you're in the middle of doing. And that will be a mode, like the UI mode, for people that like playing the game that way. But people can also have the option of playing hard blind immersive mode as well, where everything is hidden. Because people have preferences, don't they? Half the community seem to like playing it without UI, and the other half seem to prefer UI. Like, I'm a UI nerd. But so yeah, I'd play it with icons, but there's at least 4 people that have hung out here today that have said they'd play without the icons. And the other thing that was the news was that we've changed the visual look of Raindrop Chronicles by being closer, having bigger pixels, because originally it was further out, it was smaller if you look at the past VODs. And I think it's been decided we like it like this more, because it's super tiny as it was before. Like how our little characters look here, that's how big they were. Everything was half the size, and it's making me think now, should we make our characters bigger on here, or should we keep them small? have them twice the size they are. They take up a lot of space, but they'd look super cute. We'll see, because it feels like we should do that, because this is the look of the game has changed. Quest markers, a good idea, yeah. How about a little bat familiar that uses sonar that brings up a mini-map to navigate areas? Well, the mini-map's going to be there by default anyway on the UI playthrough. It'll just be a cert. As for the immersive playthrough, maybe we could still have the mini-map, but you have to do something to get the mini-map, like you say, Billy. Some sort of realistic approach to getting a mini-map to appear. So things will be a bit different in the immersive playthrough. But maybe you're just banned. Maybe you're just banned altogether from having a mini-map, guys, and then we'll see how easy Raindrop Chronicles will be for you then. That's so cute. I'm just writing a fairy tale as a school project, but can't come up with anything. Please help. Oh, guys, have you got any ideas for Kermit? Sounds cool. You can do it, Kermit. We've got any ideas for what sort of characters you want to have in it? So by default, we're doing Raindrop Chronicles with all the icons and UI, of course. But it's just a simple turning off of the switch to turn off all the UI. And you'll have the option at the start of the game which mode you want to play. Oh, I've just noticed, you notice like the errors more in like the visual glitches when it's zoomed in. I never saw it before, but the bridge, it looks like he's walking on top of the rope. So I've got to change that. I've got to make the rope go over him. I literally just noticed that. Things go missed when you have it at a smaller scale as well. But yeah, we're going to go to Fiona. We're going to pick up the quest from her. And normally it would zoom in like this when we talk to Fiona. But it'll just stay as it is now because it's a permanent zoom. I don't know why that random exclamation mark's on the map. That needs moving. And when we talk to Fiona, the quest marker will probably disappear. So we're gonna do a little bit of editing. Also, the dialogue box is in the wrong position as well. So that is something that we do have to mess about with, unfortunately. There is a little bit of incompatibility with Zoom plugins and dialogue boxes, and I knew this before anyway from when we zoomed in on the cutscenes. It doesn't make them appear in the right places, so we have to like just guess where to put the dialogue box and keep testing it. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. And I looked on the RPG Maker forums and a lot of people really want this changed. Loads of people are saying that they are using the same two plugins, the Zoom and the dialogue box over the head plugin. I'm just using Yanfly's message plugin basically to do it. I'm not using any special plugin. But it would be really cool if it didn't have that issue. But it's something we can overcome. It just takes more work and testing to fix it and getting them in the position we want. It ends happily with a moral. Swedish class. I don't know if the moral was the right translation, more like moral of the story. Yeah, all fairy tales have a moral, don't they, at the end usually. What's Beauty and the Beast's moral? Not to be a horrible person and judge people by appearances, because if you do, they might turn you into a beast. That's the Beauty and the Beast's moral. But I'm sure it can be summed up a little bit simpler. Okay, so we're going to test the quest journal again. I think today, because I says we're going to be doing a lot of bits today, I wanted to discuss those things with you. But we're going to also have to make the game a bit tidy because things are a little bit messy at the moment, such as the dialogue box has been in the wrong place. Journal, we need to trigger the journal objectives at the right time as well. And generally just tidy the game up and make the event, put the events together and make it a playable thing, rather than loads of just separate events that aren't linked. So we're going to just be doing that today really, and once that's all done, once we've fixed every single thing from the very beginning of the game to the end of the game, well, not the end of the game, till the point where Rose joins the party, that's it. Then we can start focusing on the skills, and then once the skills are done and we've got the battle system looking cool, we can start thinking of the first boss then, and then the next part of the story, Rose's sacrifice, and how that's going to turn out. And then after that we can go back to Lakefall and think of some side quests and really start fleshing out the NPCs that live there and give them some cool stories and twists and turns for the side quests. Don't turn someone into a vampire against their will, ask them first. I know! How dare they do that to Rose? It's very warm today, strangely. It's meant to be cold in the UK. Probably because I've got my onesie right here, that's why. I'm kind of half wearing my onesie. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the game from the beginning. We're going to go into the character creation, and every time I come across something that's not working properly, like a little bug or something that needs doing, I'm going to make a note of it in my notepad file. And eventually the game will be perfect, because we've got, like I said, lots of bits and pieces that need fixing. And I do the test play and I'm like, oh, there's that, I need to do that, and then oh, I need to do that too, and then by the time I've turned the test play off I forget. I'm like, oh, I forgot what I need to do now. So it's going to be very important to keep track of it all with some notes. So to do in capital letters, that's it. So we're going to do a test play. Let's do it. welcome guys to the Discord. And thank you for that link, Asriel, as well. I'm going to have a peek of that later. We'll definitely, I'll probably just bookmark it. I'll have a watch of it, but I'll probably bookmark it so that when we do the testing and resolutions stuff, just before episode 1 release, we'll work on it then together and make sure it looks cool on people's screens. Okay, so test play time. We're doing a no sound test play for now, but I do want to do a sound test play too, because that's the way to test it properly. But we're okay for now. I kind of want to do visual tests first. I don't want to get distracted by the sound. Do you use a list of tasks to complete? I tend to have a lot of notes. Yeah, I have a notepad file open at the moment and I just put my crap in there. I list everything I need to do, because otherwise you just forget everything that you need to do, otherwise you'll miss things out. I like this song, speaking of being distracted by sound. Yeah, this particular track is from Final Fantasy XIV. They're all from Final Fantasy XIV. This one's one of the trials, one of the trials you have to fight in the Shadowbringers expansion. Okay, so we've got a few save points. Who should we make? Should we make Jesus again? I mean, I think we're pretty attached to Jesus. Menu looks fine. Okay, so I've spotted a problem already. Okay, so since we did the ×2 zoom, it's changed the positioning of the text in our character creation. So that's one thing we need to fix. But the little circle where the character stands is fine. So it's currently like, it's too far to the left and the choices are too far up. Originally, they're centered. And the choices are lower, so that needs changing. Yeah, he looks fine now. Although I might make him a bit lower, because we've got this space here, and the thing is, the little beam that goes over him, it kind of like blends in with the character set, and the face thingy, I mean. I'm not sure I'm keen on that, so I'll probably move it a bit lower, although it is centered. Sprite and light thingy majig. What do you call? Is it? I forgot the name you give them now. Lower them. So yeah, just a bit of positioning issues now with the character creator, because it was perfect when we had the sprites at small size, but now we've got the zoom forever, and it looks way better in all honesty. But it has messed up with our positioning. So oops, we didn't make Jesus the right colour skin. But we're only doing a test play anyway. We're not going to save it. Yeah, give him a beard. He looks pretty badass, doesn't he, as a character? Be a hunt, this one. And it would be on this screen when you're given the choice with what mode you want to play. It'll probably, I'm not sure when it'll ask us that. Maybe at the point after you've given the name. Well, we'll have to decide when a good point for the game mode could go. But it'll be somewhere in this scene. Hi Morwick, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about being so long saying hi. I've been distracted by this. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. How about an old lady that owns a cat that gets lost? That sounds like a cute idea for the story, Kermit. You should do that. Anything with an animal in is good. So yeah, animals in your fairy tale would be cool. Looks like me with no glasses. Yeah, is this how your character's gonna look, Elite? Is this how you're gonna make him look? Hello, Morwick. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna be doing a lot of test playing today and tidying things up because things are a little bit rough around the edges at the moment. We recently introduced a ×2 zoom plugin to the game to make it look visually more cozier and nicer because they were all at a smaller size before, and it's kind of messed up with a lot of the text positioning, so we're gonna fix things, but we're doing good, guys. We've made quite a bit of progress the last couple of weeks, haven't we? We're gonna make even more. Don't even think so. I mean, looks like me in real life. Oh yeah, and I want to know what your actual custom hero is gonna look like though. You're gonna make Jesus, aren't you? You're still Jesus from me. But for anyone that's hanging out in the stream that might be new today, I'm going to let you know about the project. I'm going to leave you with some commands. We have also launched our website today. It's not the full launch yet. Only got a coming soon screen up right now, but it's really cool. A really cool feeling to have a domain and have it all there and working. So feel free to have a peek if you're curious. You might make yeah, not Jesus. Yeah, I'm wondering how many people will just do Jesus just because I've done Jesus as my custom hero. Okay, so what should this guy's name be? Fart, that's it. I'm immature. What kind of music are you going to use for your game? Oh, well, I found a really, really nice RPG soundtrack that the composer for it, he has like loads of music. He's got like albums of music, and I'm going to use his because he's give it away for free. I just really like it. So that'll be the music I'm using. You can't hear it at the moment because I'm playing one of my playlists in the background on iTunes and the game music's muted, but we do test plays with sound sometimes where you can hear the music in the background, and we'll be doing those quite often at some points. But when we just do quick test plays, I tend to just keep the game sound muted. But yeah, I feel like I found a really nice RPG soundtrack, and there'll probably be times when we use other pieces of music if the situation is appropriate. But most of the time we'll probably stick to the same composer just for consistency. He has a lot of like pieces of music that use the same motif and stuff, and I really like it when composers for video games do that sort of thing. That name, yeah. He's the fourth son of the Crap family. Fart Crap, a proud man with a proud name. He is. It's the perfect name for him. Farewell, Fart. That's what the narrator just said to him. So we're going to keep it. We have a few visual problems here. They're way more clear now we've zoomed in. Oh, what's he doing outside the barrel? Right, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of things we need to change now we've zoomed in, but it's mainly to do with the text box positioning and general text positioning. Everything else seems to be fine, apart from the fact that he wasn't in the barrel properly. Naughty Fart. So yeah, we need to move Carol the Barrel's text box above her. That's the goal, because I like having the text box above who's speaking. But because we're using the Zoom plugin, unfortunately it really screws it up. There isn't a compatibility, unfortunately. Everybody in the RPG Maker forums is requesting it because a lot of people want it to work. So you'd think someone might have put together a solution, but not yet. Not yet. Remind me of the old episode of Ren and Stimpy. He was too stinky to be inside Carol. Even she had standards. That's probably why. He smelled like a fart, so Carol says you can't come in, me. Is your game going to work on a Mac? Does it? Can I ask is there an expert of RPG Maker here who knows if it's going to work on anything other than Windows? Actually, I haven't really looked into that yet. I have to say. But it's not going to be on mobile, I'll say that, just because it's going to be way too confusing to do all the setting up for screens of that size. But it's going to hopefully be playable on most desktops. Yeah, it can work on Mac and Wii. Yeah, as long as RPG Maker allows that, then yes. You know what I mean? If RPG Maker doesn't allow it, then I haven't got the power to make it work. But according to Elite, it does. Yay. I'm glad. What was the question? Sorry, was in the kitchen. Oh yeah, we was asking if RPG Maker's compatible on Windows, Linux and Mac. Because I actually didn't want to say yes, because I didn't know for sure. I was pretty sure it did, but I didn't want to say something I didn't know for sure. I use that. As long as RPG Maker lets it work on Linux, then yes. It will certainly play on there. Super easy to deploy, as easy as checking a box. Yay, thanks for confirming that. Also, I'm getting peckish. I ran out of almond milk though. Oh no. What am I gonna eat? Well, you don't eat milk. Okay, so let's fix the box issue first of all. Because it's very difficult to see it up there when it's so high up. So it's gonna take a lot of trial and error, this is, because unfortunately we just have to, it's just guesswork to guess where the dialogue box has got to go, until someone makes the plugin compatible with the dialogue boxes, I guess. So first job, I've wrote it down, text positioning of character creation, and it probably doesn't work for the same reason the dialogue boxes don't work. So the awakening of a new hero begins, and that's pulling it from the 4th event, I believe. Or no, is it the 3rd event or the 4th? It might be the 3rd event actually, according to that. So here it is, that's the event. Basically this event here is where the dialogue box appears, and for some reason that where it is, the centre at the top, is exactly where the dialogue box should appear. But the Zoom plugin ruins it. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but it's worth it because the Zoom plugin's amazing. So we have to, like, you know, just get over it and try and think of a solution, I guess. When they make almond milk, do they milk the almonds individually? I have no idea. Does anyone know? I really like it though. It's better for you as well. It's better for you than normal milk, isn't it? Okay, so the coordinates are currently 18.2. Put that in there just so I know. And it was too far to the left. And I can't remember if it was too high up. It might have been. So I'm literally going to do that and test play it now. We'll see. We'll see where the position is now. Oh my god, this is literally going to be crazy. We're going to have to test every single dialogue box in the game. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the RPG Maker forums and ask if anybody's willing to find a solution for the plugin compatibility with the MBS Zoom and the Yanfly dialogue boxes above the head. Because it's a problem, some sort of incompatibility there for why we have this issue. And I searched the forums with all my heart last night, trying to see if there was any solution, but no. Oh, I missed it. Thank God. I can't even see the test play, guys, because I'm on the wrong screen. But I had it up and I missed it. I have to start again. When will the first chapter be released? Kind of aiming for spring next year. As a roundabout date. Things might change. Might be earlier, might be later. Totally depends on how the progress of episode 1 goes, basically. And sometimes it can be hard to predict because of bugs and hold-ups and things like that. The main thing is that we get it working and as amazing as it can be. And if that does delay the release date by a few months, then so be it. We'll see how it goes, but spring, first quarter next year, second quarter next year is kind of an aim at the moment. So I'm excited. Episode 1, guys. You don't have to wait 3 years for a full game with Raindrop Chronicles. You'll just be waiting a few months for an actual episode. Huzzah. Yes, individually they say nurturing things to them as they are milked. Thank you for the 90 bits, Elite, for Rose's attitude on release schedule. Yeah, you agree with me, Elite? Have I got a good attitude, have I? It's ready when it's ready. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is put pressure on yourself, because it's so, we all know what game development's like, don't we? And what even studios who have like hundreds of people can have to delay the project sometimes because things don't go expected, and that's a team of like hundreds of people. Yay, hi Andy Cake, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Okay, so now it's too far to the right and that one's too far to the left, so that's weird. Why did it go back? Okay, that's because it calls the first one from event 3, but the rest of it is called from event 2. Why is that? Why did I do that? So that's event 2. Okay, maybe it's because I wanted the first line to be higher up and the rest of it to be lower down and centered or something. Right, so maybe that'll be about the right position then. See what I mean? This is what we have to do with all the dialogue boxes. But it's satisfying to see the dialogue box in the right position at least. But yeah, honestly, people on the RPG Maker forums are begging for someone to fix this bug. Absolutely begging for it. Yeah, still too far to the right. Maybe one more across. It definitely needs to be lower down too. Oops, accidentally crossed off RPG Maker. Oopsie oopsie. I had been working. Go Andy Cake. A weekend's coming up though, so you have a good rest. Going to put this here. Ooh, is that the RPG Maker bundle, guys? Don't forget I'm a partner on Humble, guys, so I'd super appreciate if you use my link, my Humble link as well. But thank you, Val, for popping that in, guys. If you want to have a peek at that, definitely do. Is on sale for 50 plus several extras if anyone is interested. Yeah, have a peek, guys. So it's an A+. Oh, that's good, Andy Cake. I hope work's been treating you well though. So I'm going to move Emma's across by 1. And I think they're a bit too high up. Maybe there's a sort of pattern with these dialogue boxes that have the same pattern. And like, if there's something logical to why the dialogue boxes have to be positioned so off where they should be, I can work out the pattern and then do the same for every dialogue box then, if you get what I'm on about. But maybe there's no logic to it. Maybe it's just random. Hopefully not, because then it's going to be very difficult to know where all the dialogue boxes need placing. But oh well. I'd rather do this than go back to the smaller sprites, if I'm honest. Because I'm attached now to this 2 times zoom. Okay, that's centered, isn't it? I think we've got the centering perfect, but for some reason it's still very high up. Very, very, very high up. Let's just move them super low and see what happens. We'll move them to the bottom. Move that one there. See what happens. Maybe they'll get lower now. It's one of those pay for what you want things. Oh, yay. Loads a humble command may be a good idea. She might want to rub it in people's faces. Oh yeah, you are right, Azrael. It would be a good thing to do. But it's true. I'm humble, just like Humble Bundle. I'm not really one to be like, guys, give me money now. I'm a humble bundle. Yay! 226. Oh, you're actually over 400. I read the wrong bit. Oh my goodness. You are nearly at 500. Holy crap. I read the wrong bit. I was like, 226. I was like, that's really good. But I swear Val, there's even more than that. Congratulations, Val. Have you got any ideas for a Raindrop Chronicles character? Just handy for us if people ask if I can just use the command. Yay! I'll get that put up before next week's stream then. For sure. It's still really high up. What's going on? Oh! That one's gone lower though. Is that's not centered, is it? That text doesn't look centered. Or is that just my eyes being weird? It's very close to centered, but it might be a tiny bit off. But I think we've kind of got it where what we want, guys. We got to just move our character down a touch because he's a little bit high. It'd be cool if he's a bit lower. But you know, it's not too far from what it was like before now. I think it's basically very close to centered. I'm just being a fuss-pot. Oh, red-headed Jesus now. Hi, red-headed Jesus. Is the location of the first dialogue box set to top or middle? We can have a peek and have a look. I think it's actually centered, isn't it? Yeah, my eyes were probably deceiving me. But I think for the first dialogue box, what it is, it's because I'm calling it from a different event. And I think I did that because I actually like it being higher up for the first text. But I don't know. Maybe we should keep it this consistent. I don't know why I made that decision. Maybe we should keep it all in the middle. Ginger. Oh no, there's no room. Ginger Jesus, there we go. If I get to 500, I will think about it then. Yay! That's awesome, Val. I'm going to get shocked. Jesus had it hard. If you look at the pictures, he was the only white kid in the Middle East. Well, he's ginger, you know. Most ginger people are pale. This guy was actually born in Scandinavia. This Jesus was not in the Middle East. He's Tormund's brother from Game of Thrones. Is this the real you? Are you happy with your choices? Yeah. Yeah, I think we just need to move him down a bit. I think if we have him a little bit lower and the little blue light touch lower, it'll balance the composition up a bit better. Because on that particular bit, the text looks a little bit close to Jesus. And yeah. Carol the barrel again. The cam goes way too quick there. And we need it to center more on Jesus and Carol too. It's a bit high up. And he was outside the barrel as well. His name's not Fart. He's not Smelly. So why was he outside the barrel? We'll have to look into that because that never happened before. When we did test plays before, the character's always inside the barrel. So maybe there's a little bug that's happened. But we'll fix it. I'm going to be doing a lot of this tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, because I'm not streaming those days. As you know, I have those days off. So I'll be doing a lot of this bug fixing then. getting the game working, and it'll be super playable and awesome on Monday, I hope, and we can talk about skills and have some cool ideas for what we're going to do with that. I've got a few little basic ideas now, but I'll have a proper think over the weekend in preparation. Okay, so let's just finish this dialogue because I want to see how it is to walk around Lightfall. Yeah, everything's working fine. The position on the mini map is where it should be. Jesus is centered, isn't he? The cam is following the player. So it seems to be totally fine. Oh, he's not meant to walk up here. Must have not set that tile set up properly. Lightfall is going to become a parallax map though, guys, eventually. I will be doing turning this into a parallax map because, well, we do have a few visual glitches like here, for example. If you can see in front of Ginger Jesus, there's a little bit of a problem. A small problem. You might be able to spot it if you can say. But the main reason I want to have a parallax map of Lightfall is so we can add some flowers, just like in the Everbloom Forest, but not all over, but mainly just at the edges of the map, like start to show the flowers coming in, just so it's not really sudden when we get to the Everbloom Forest we suddenly like flowers in the face. So it'll just blend the maps in a little bit more, I think. And oh yeah, I don't particularly like tile sets much because I find that I'm walking over things like here all the time. And I know it's as easy as going into the tile set menu and blocking the passages, but sometimes I find it easier to actually just use the region restrictions plugin for making sure the character doesn't walk where they shouldn't, rather than have to do it in the tile sets menu. Find that actually harder. So yeah, this part looks fine. I want to go into a building and see how it looks in there. So one thing I think I will do is move it up, maybe, but it might not let us. Because it centers on the player, if you know what I mean. So, but I think it would be cool to center on the building instead in these small buildings. Like for example here, this would fill the screen perfectly. So maybe, I guess it's just again a visual preference. I can test both and see what works best, but it might actually be better to centre on the room. So, because of the size of it being quite small, but we'll see. But it definitely works better following the player on large maps like this, of course. How many black rows do you have below it on the map itself? Yeah, maybe it's to do with that. Maybe I just have to change the size of the map or something. Maybe I've got too many black rows. Just a little bit of experimenting then I think I need to do for that. Because it worked fine when it was at the smaller pixels, the sprites and stuff, but obviously now I've doubled the size, it's kind of changed. I have to alter things now. And yeah, we did test walking through the Everbloom Forest and it worked fine. Oh, the river's not animated. I mean, the waterfall's not animated. I've just noticed that. It used to be animated, I think. Or maybe it never was. You really just notice the detail more, don't you, when it's zoomed in. I'm spotting all the little visual errors that I didn't spot before. So I'll have to fix that too. I'm not writing down the notes like I said I should. I'll do that more off stream. We also have to do inside this building too. This is oh, we don't have the raindrop icon anymore on top of the building either. Have to add that again. But yeah, we have to do inside that building at some point too. My plan for this building, I'll just give you a brief example. It's kind of a bank that give you raindrops, which is the currency of the game, for killing monsters. And it's kind of an incentive to grind, I guess. and not run away from the monsters, because some people might be impatient and think, oh, I can't be bothered to fight this, I'll just run past it. But if you're getting raindrops from killing them, it might give a bit more incentive, you see. And it's going to work for law reasons as well, because the people that work here are like, they work for the government, they're like a faction, and they want the monsters dealt with that are here. They reward citizens with money for killing dangerous things. And because in reality, in some RPGs, you might have noticed that monsters drop money. But Raindrop Chronicles isn't going to do that. We're not going to drop money from animals or monsters in Raindrop Chronicles, because in all honesty, monsters don't have money on them. They have meat or fangs, or they have like animal parts, not money. So our monsters will be dropping animal parts or whatever's related to the monster. Like, for example, this toxic plant might drop a fang because he's got sharp teeth or something, or he might drop a leaf or something related to the what's on the monster anyway. And those loot materials will be used for crafting in the game, because we will have a crafting system too. But yeah, they won't be dropping money or currency. You have to go to the bank to get currency, but there'll be other ways to get the currency in the game. For example, when you go to the shops, you can sell your loot and animal parts for raindrops as well. That's another way to get it. But those are just some basic ideas that we discussed in earlier streams. Things can change. If anybody's got any smart ideas, we can always take those into account as well. Yeah, for interiors, I give myself a border of 2 black blocks, and that tends to work well with the camera. Awesome. I'll give that a little I'll have a little mess about with that later then, Elite, because I'm going to spend tomorrow and the weekend fixing all these little glitches we've got. Yeah, was the tile set somehow changed? No idea. I think the tile set's the same. I might have done something and forgot. That's probably what it is, because I did change the parallax maps last night. I've changed the plugins I use, so maybe it's that, because this is a better plugin now. It's probably not going to have the issues the other parallax plugin had. Is the monsters on screen or random encounter? It's an on-map encounter, Fantasia. So can you see this black shadow wandering around? That's a monster. So you can wander around the map to your heart's content without any encounters. And if you want to fight, you have to walk into them. So, like this. But, yeah, he's tiny. Ginger Jesus is small. He's going to be either twice that size or 4 times that size. Because originally, the sprites are super small, you see. But because I'm doing this game full screen, I have to kind of manually make everything bigger. So I will have to resize those sprites. Because it's a tiny thing. One thing I do want to do with this battle map is add flowers as well, more flowers, so it fits with the ever-blooming forest. The bar system UI isn't 100% perfect yet, but it's working, so that's the main thing. But yeah, that's basically how a battle encounter will be. You have to walk into the enemy for the battle to start, and the shadow of the monster is basically the monsters that you'll get, so it's all linked. We've got a shroom down here as well. Where's our little shroom? There he is, bouncing up and down. So if we go into him, you'll get the shrooms. And of course, I'm sure some battles will have a mixture of monsters as well. We're gonna have a discussion about battle formations and skills next week, so we'll be talking more about that then. Anyway, I'm going to catch up with chat. Welcome, Nano. How are you doing? I'm going to just catch up with chat and I'll read your message in a sec. Hope you're having a good day. That monster is so cute. He is, isn't he? Always wondered how monsters are money. Yeah, I think games just do it just for easy reasons, so players can get money easily, but in reality it isn't very realistic, is it? It's definitely more realistic to have the shopkeepers give you money by trading in things, or have a bank where you can get money for doing things. So that's the approach we're going to have for Raindrop Chronicles, a more realistic one. I keep using it as an example, I know, but FF7 only had goblins or other humanoid enemies drop money as they likely stole it from other adventurers. Standard animals, as you say, drop items relating to the animal, yeah. And I'm sure, like, if we come across bandits and people that could realistically have money, they'd have raindrops on them, maybe. But because we've got a liquid currency in our game, all the raindrops will be stored in bottles and things like that, of course. That's where people keep their raindrops, so they don't just have it on them loose. I bet Rose makes all monsters cute. Yeah, we've kind of, like... I found an artist who does battle sprites like that you just seen. He actually has a Patreon and he very regularly updates it as well. He's got a massive like resource collection of monsters. So I am going to use his so we can keep a consistent look with our monsters in the game. There might be a time where we have to look elsewhere for battle assets if he doesn't have what we want, but we'll have to make sure they at least look similar. More flowers, yay! Make a monster half cake, half human. We might have a monster like that one day, who knows, anti-cake. And Nano says feature request accessibility option. When behind foreground images, a circle around a character makes it transparent, so people can always see where they are. I'm actually not sure what you mean, Nano, because I'm actually terrible at following instructions. If you've got a reference image, then that'll go a long way with me, and I'll probably figure out what you mean then. Hey all, have a great stream. I've got to pop out for a bit. We'll be back later. Take care, cheese. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you're having a good day. Or have people based on how many and how difficult the monster give you money as a bounty fee. Yeah, and that works too, because when we go in the bank, because the good thing about this our quest system is you can't really see it here because I haven't accepted the quest yet, but the quests will be categorised. There'll be main quests, side quests, character quests, and there'll be another form of quests where it's only killing bounties, like sort of hunts, if you know what I mean, a bit like you mentioned Fantasia, and you do get the hunts from this building here. Oh, sorry, he's gotten away. Well, basically, they're basically saying that we'll give you 500 raindrops for killing so many toxic plants. They might say that, something like that, and that quest will then go in the quest journal under hunts or something like that, and they'll all be categorised, so it'll all be tidy and neat in there. And then when you've killed X amount of monsters required, then you can go back in there and collect your raindrops. And some people might not have any interest at all in doing things that way, and they might think, I can't be bothered to kill the monsters, or their loss if they don't want to, they won't level up. But if people don't want to do things that way, then they'll just have to sell loot, because you'll be able to go to the shops and sell random loot you pick up for raindrops as well. Otherwise you'll be poor, because you won't get them any other way. Well, you might, maybe there'll be other ways. Quests might give you some money, actually. That might be another way. When you complete some side quests and main quests, you might get some raindrops as a reward then too. Pog, based off Rogue Galaxy, yeah. If there's any like game screenshots and you think that this feature that we were talking about has this in it, then you can always post a screenshot of it in the Raindrop Chronicles idea channel and mention it. Say, yeah, this is what I was talking about, this game does it, and then I've got a bit of inspiration to go from, because sometimes it can be quite difficult to know exactly what's meant. Like if you say you've got a suggestion or an idea and you just describe it, sometimes I struggle visualizing it and I need to see a reference image or something to get a better idea. And also these earphones are hurting my ears, so I'm gonna just take them out for a little bit. But yeah, things seem to be working, and the bugs that we do have seem to be very much dialogue box bugs and where the text is positioned. So I'm going to get those fixed. We're going to spend the stream fixing those, and we've got a few little things to do. It's all the messy things that need doing, and once those messy bits are over, then we can move on to the exciting parts. And Gek Tech, thank you for that follow, by the way. I appreciate it. And anyone else who might have followed, I appreciate that too. Sometimes I miss the follow alerts because of the sound being so quiet. Now I plug my earphones out, I won't hear anything at all. But I appreciate it. Yay, thank you so much for the retweet, Rex and Fantasy for the retweet too. And Raindrop Chronicles for the retweet, though that was me. Okay, so, I think we did get the dialogue boxes in the character creator kind of sorted. I do want the character moving down and that moving down, so the way we're going to do this is this. Funnily enough, you might have thought this was an image, this here, but it isn't. It's actually tile sets, believe it or not. So we're going to move it down by one. We found out my hidden secret, chat, of how I made this map. We'll see how it looks then, but I might move it down once more as well. And the other thing we needed to do was Carol the barrel. So message event, so that her dialogue is from event 4. Pardon me. So but this is event 4, and for some reason it's all the way up there. So I'm predicting that it'll have to go somewhere here, but probably a bit off. Yeah, there's probably a pattern to it. So what I'll probably do, if that ends up being the right position for the dialogue box, I'll just have to remember how many steps across and down it is from Carol. And then I can follow that pattern in the future with all other NPCs' dialogue boxes as well. And hopefully that'll be effective. And what was the other bug? Oh yeah, he was sticking out. He wasn't behind Carol, he was in front of her. Why did it do that? Have I got a setting wrong somewhere? It's on through. Makes it impossible to move through impassable tiles and characters. I completely forgot how I got it working before, if I'm honest. But really, he has to be behind Carol. That's the problem we're having. Above characters. Okay. Tile sets. Like for Carol the Barrel's asset should be here somewhere. We got it on the star. Where are you, Carol? Hiding from me. This is really weird, but I can't. Is that Carol? That is Carol. That's not Carol. That's a barrel there, but it's not Carol. She's gone. She ran off. Maybe that's why we're having a problem. She's not even on this tile set anymore. She's very bizarre, I have to say. She's got to be. There she is. She's there. So maybe it needs to be on the star. I don't know why it wasn't on that anyway, unless we did things another way. I've lost my memory for how we did it, but I'll do that and see if that makes it work. I don't know, I can't even remember. What does the star do? Does it put you in front or behind it? Because we're trying to get the player behind Carol, that's the goal. I can't remember if the star is behind or in front. Okay, so let's do another test play and see how buttons are now. Who shall we make now? Make a lady now. Unfortunately, we can't have bearded ladies, so we can't have the female Jesus. So I'm doing Rose, non-vampire Rose. This is non-vampire Rose, everybody. Imagine it, 2 Roses in the game. I think I still need to move the sprite down a little bit on that particular scene. It's still a bit high. And yeah, cam's too fast. I wonder why it's faster now all of a sudden. Oh yeah, we got to move the cam down too. Okay. So the dialog box is moved position, but it's still a bit high. And I think it needs to be moved 1 to the right. Hey, I didn't double check if she was behind the barrel or not. I'll have to look again. I didn't actually notice. I wasn't paying attention. A talking barrel. Yeah, it's Carol the Barrel. Thanks Silent and Lost for that one, Val. He was the one that created Carol the Barrel. We were discussing ideas for how the intro, the opening scene should begin. And we submitted ideas for it, and Silent and Lost, well, I kind of said, no, it wasn't me who decided it actually. Silent did it all. He basically said that the hero is going to be a stowaway in a barrel. And he made a typo. And the typo implied that the barrel is sentient and talks. And we were like, oh my God, let's do it. I know it was a typo, but we'll actually have a talking barrel. That'll be incredible. So we went ahead with it. Yep. This game's bonkers, that's all I'm going to say. And there'll be a barrel village as well at some point. This is what I meant. Oh, thank you, Nano. Carol the Barrel. She's going to be a romance option, by the way, Carol. She's a tsundere character, the Japanese trope, if anybody doesn't know what that means. Tsundere means very cold, very aggressive and angry. But very affectionate when she gets to know you. That's going to be Carol. Not hentai. Let's have a look at this image then. Character is behind a tree. Tree's foreground. I'm still confused. I'm very sorry. Does anyone in chat understand? Let me just read your previous message again and maybe I'll get what. When behind foreground images, a circle around the character makes it transparent so people can always see where they are. Oh, I think I get what you mean now. You mean if you're behind a tree and you can't see yourself, right? And you're saying have a circle to show that. I mean, I don't know. I guess this is a subjective thing, isn't it? But if we're going for the realism thing, there probably wouldn't be a circle there, because we was having this discussion earlier about 2 potential game modes. One being one with UI, quest markers, all the things that identify where you've got to go and all those kind of things, and I suppose that would be a similar thing. But then there'd also be a game mode where everything is not there, no guide at all, nothing. And some people prefer that mode because some people don't like being handheld or told what to do in games. So we're going to go for 2 modes with Raindrop Chronicles for sure. And that second one I mentioned would be the blind, hard, immersive mode. And the first one will be the default one probably. And that'll have all your quest markers and everything that tells you where everything is. And yeah, I know what they mean. When you are behind an object that blocks visibility of character, it creates an aura around your character that protrudes through obstruction to show the player where you are. Yeah, is there a game that does that, like, out there? Because if I'm actually gonna go ahead with the feature, I do like to see an example, because I can't even visually picture it myself. But seeing a game do it kind of like, it kind of makes you think, oh yeah, that's cool. So if there is a game that does that sort of thing, then let me know for sure, because I'm sure there must be. If you've come up with the idea, there must be something that's inspired that. But yeah, accessibility options. So it's like, you know what I mean, it's all very subjective things, because there are many people. There's been a few people here that have mentioned how they prefer not being shown indicators or all that, and I'm actually someone that prefers that. I love being shown where to go. I like things being made easier for me in games, because I'm inclined to give up and get frustrated if I get confused, whereas some people hate that. They're like, no, don't show me where the quests are, don't show me where to go. They want to figure it out themselves. So that's definitely why we're going to go with the 2 modes for sure. And of course, that's going to go a long way, because they're both very different game experiences. And we kind of we're pleasing people who like playing it one way and then not another way. But obviously, we're not always going to be able to please everybody, because sometimes people are going to be like, oh, I don't like that, but the majority might like it like that. So that's why we've gone ahead with it, if you get what I mean. So, well, yes, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if there's a game that does it, show me, because I'll be all up for looking. And if RPG Maker is a plugin, if I like it and I think that's cool, that'll be awesome. And if RPG Maker allows that kind of thing, then I'll go ahead and do it. It all depends if it's even possible, if you get what I mean. Sometimes things can be quite hard to set up. Right, so are my earphones working now? I'm going to still keep them out, because for some reason they're hurting today. So I'm going to have no sound at all today, chat. Okay, so... Oh, welcome Cheese Weasel and Jepson to the Discord. I appreciate you guys. I'm actually going to say hi to you all before I do more test plays. I like to be very welcoming. You have come to the right place, guys. You know where the cool place is to hang out. As you can see, we have quite a lot of Raindrop Chronicles channels in here. We are having a website, as you can see in the title. We've got our website now. Still not full launch yet. Got to get it all the stuff sorted, get it presented well. But next month, at some point next month, there will be a full launch, and things might change around a bit. Like some of these channels might be deleted and on the website instead. So, but for now, there's a lot of stuff here. That this is how you see your character sheets and things. But we'll see how it goes. The Discord is still a very important place for submitting Raindrop Chronicles ideas at present, and it's been very effective for voting on things as well and submitting community ideas. I love how I just noticed the website is up. Yay. So it came out. Yay, welcome back, cheese. Yeah, so I did say stream 50 will get it up, and it is here. It's right here, guys. raindroprpg.com. We've got a proper professional domain. It shows how friggin' important this project is to have a professional domain, because I'm paying monthly for it. And yeah, I've got a host using wordpress.org, so we'll get an awesome site as well. And yeah, social media's down here too. So yes, keep an eye out, bookmark it, and I will I will notify you all when the website is officially launched. Current characters, yay! This actual image here that I've used is quite an old one. There's some new characters that aren't on this image. So these are all the originals, you know, the very first ones that were created before we even begun the Raindrop Chronicles streams. Because the Raindrop Chronicles project was actually announced like about 6 months before we even begun the project on Twitch. So the people that already were legendary Raindrops could create their characters back then, and that's who these guys are. Okay, so we can go back to doing some test plays then. Gonna boot up your game, right? Yeah, you're gonna be test playing Elite's game, Cheese. That's awesome. I really want to play it too. I'm definitely going to play it at some point, even if I don't end up being a play tester for it. Also, drop my project into Discord too. Yeah, put it in the Creative Work channel and share all your stuff in there for sure. Yes, Rose, some are missing. Yeah, I know. Maybe I'll do an updated one at some point with more characters on. Rex needs to be in the back as big villain. Oh, you think Rex will be the big villain? Maybe, maybe not. He might be a villain that isn't big. Maybe things will change and there'll be even bigger villains in the game later on that haven't even been created yet as characters. People might, who currently don't have 500 raindrops, might be villain characters. I know that we've got one, Fantasia. Recently filled in a character sheet. Going to be an antagonist, I believe. If memory serves me correctly, I might have been dreaming. But I believe I did have a peek of Fantasia character sheet and they are an antagonist. So we'll be having a new antagonist in the game, guys. And there's no limit to the amount of antagonists we're going to have, okay? So don't think just because we've already got some antagonists that we're not going to want any more. If you want to be a villain and you've got a good idea for a villain, you be a villain. Because even if we've got 10 antagonists in another year in Raindrop Chronicles, if we end up with 10, they'll all serve a purpose in the story. Some will be side quest villains. Some will be really end game villains that we won't even meet until episode 5. And some will be early game villains that will be villains in the early episode but no longer are villains later on. So, you know, there's an opportunity to have many antagonists in this story as it goes on. That's what makes things exciting, meeting new characters and new bad guys. Character arcs. And just because someone's an antagonist at the start doesn't necessarily mean there will be an endgame. Maybe they'd be dead, maybe we'd have murdered them, or maybe they'd have turned into had a redemption arc or something. Who knows where the story's gonna go. Rex is the pet sidekick. Yeah. I have a soft spot for Rex's character. That's no surprise, I'm sure though. LOL, I should really do something with being a legendary raindrop. Yeah, Jiray, you're a legendary raindrop, aren't you? If you've got over those 500 raindrops, you can be a character as well. And the website's going to really be a lot better than how the current Google Doc is. I'm going to really show off things, guys. I'm going to put my heart into the website, and you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I am frigging playing this game right now. That's what you're all going to be like. I'll check out your project too later today. Yay! Did you say that you're going to start streaming RPG Maker, Cheese? I wonder who that could be. More antagonists means more slots left for the player characters. Yeah, and like I says, there's no limit on player characters either. If you've had a peek, you can see that we've got like over 30 classes for our game. So there's the potential to have at least 30 playable characters in Raindrop Chronicles. And we're going to have a party picker system anyway, where you get to choose who you want in your party. So there's no limit to the playable characters. You can just switch between who you want to have. And some of them, some of the playable characters might not even be with the hero at certain points in the game. Like I was saying yesterday, for example, Rose. at the point we are in the game at the moment, she's currently joined our party. But she might not be in our party for very long. She might go off and do something else for a bit and then meet us again later. And that will probably happen a lot with the playable characters. Even if we've got 30 of them, there might only be 10 that are with us, or even less than that. And we'll meet them all at because we'll all be at different parts of the world, going on our own adventures from time to time. And I really like it when games do that. It kind of makes it feel like a bit of a TV series. Because I feel like this game is kind of like a TV series with its episodic format. And all the characters that you meet, you might not see. You know, in some TV series, some characters go missing for a season, but then reappear a season after. It's going to be like that. I would just be the innkeeper that kicks out adventurers. Yeah, some people really... the idea of being a minor NPC really appeals to them. Some people just thought, I want to be a townsperson, I want to be a blacksmith, I want to be an innkeeper, I want to be and some people would rather be that than a warrior or a badass hero. Some people prefer the more humble character, and that's certainly fine too. And Fantasia likes villains more. Yay! I was just saying how we got your character sheet to do, and I'm really excited. We're going to introduce another antagonist to the game, and that's very exciting for sure, because at the moment we've only established the reptiles as antagonists. We've got Rex's character and we've got Chubcheeks' character, and they're the only two antagonists, and they both happen to be reptiles. So we have established that the reptiles are the bad guys. Well, things aren't black and white. Reptiles, there could be some good ones in there too. It was suggested by who was it? Battle Sandwich. He had the idea of having like reptiles merge with the human race. Like some of the poorer members of the human race could be living with reptiles, and it kind of makes the reptiles a bit more sympathetic if we can relate to them and if they live among some of the humans. Because they are definitely an oppressed race, and maybe it's justified that they hate us and have done what they've done. Maybe. But yeah, we'll be having a new type of villain soon, and that'll be really exciting. 420, you're getting there, Elite. Maybe next week. Maybe next week you'll hit it. Yay! Oh my god, Fantasia's got over 1,000. 80 to more to characterise Kong. Yay. Oh yeah, that was me. I was thinking to try tomorrow. Yeah, you should do. And if you go live, just drop your link in the Creative Work channel or something to just say that you're doing your game on Twitch. And the Creative Work channels can be a self-promo channel for people if it's linked to creative stuff. So if you're streaming anything creative links, then yeah, you can use it to put your Twitch thing in. Yay! Oh my goodness, Jirai, you are really high. I bet you're shocked. Who knows? Foreshadowing. Yeah, I think the fact that this story hasn't been planned and we don't know what's going to happen is what makes it even more exciting, because it just opens up the possibilities. If you know what I mean. And people get chance to think of crazy ideas over the weeks and months, and they might have some plans of how they're going to do things, and that's really exciting too. Okay, so I forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah, Carol the Barrel's dialogue box. I think move it one across and a bit more down. We'll see if putting it there makes it work. Who should we make now? I'm trying to think of a celebrity or something. All I can think is Jesus, honestly. Jesus is the only celebrity in my mind. God, honestly, I'm not that much of a Jesus lover at all. It's just a meme now. Brad Pitt. Should we make Brad Pitt then? Forgot what Brad Pitt looks like. Is he fair or medium? He's quite fair, isn't he? I guess. Oh my goodness, True Baldy. Oh my goodness. I'm so confused in my Twitch subs at the moment, but glad this one is still going. Oh my goodness. I can't hear the little bot that talks and says the messages because my alerts are super quiet, but thank you so much, True Baldy. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on. You said you weren't going to do the tier 3 this month because you need to save your money. What are you doing, True Baldy? Is Twitch is it bugged up for you? I appreciate the support though. Too generous. Mog's having a going bonkers over it. Let's have some hype, guys, for True Baldy. I want to see all the hype in chat, please. There we go. Hype from me. How are you doing, True Baldy? How is your day? It's our last stream of the week. I'm really confused because my sub says that my tier 3 sub ends on November 3rd. Yeah, that is weird. Twitch is strange sometimes, aren't they? It was stressful, but now it's okay. Yeah, make sure you've changed the sub or something. Just make sure that just double check, True Baldy. I don't want you're getting skint because of me. Appreciate it though. Yay! Okay, so anybody that's just coming to hang out, exclamation mark website. There you go. Because we got a website now, guys, but it's still just our coming soon page. But keep an eye out because it's going to be up soon. Just got a new haircut, so now I'm 10% less ugly. No, you're not ugly. Never. Nobody's ugly. You're all beautiful humans. Already look superb. Yeah, I'm glad that you like it. Sometimes we need that haircut. I haven't had one in ages. I kind of cut my own. We're making Brad Pitt, aren't we? He's gonna just look like Butt. He literally just looks like the same as the Butt character we made. Does he have a beard? He looks nothing like Brad Pitt, I'm afraid. This custom character creator only works if you like really got a distinct look like Jesus, you know. Oh yeah, you can add a gap. You can have a surname for your character if it's short enough. Fingers crossed that Carol the Barrel's dialogue box is in place now. Oh, okay, he's still not behind the barrel properly. So it's better. I think it's just not centered how I want it to be. Maybe I'll move it across one. Across one and down one. One left and one down, and maybe that'll solve it. And oh yeah, we need to center them as well on the screen because they're a bit low down at the moment. See, this game's gone lewd. For anybody that hasn't seen this cutscene, this is evidence of how lewd our game is. But it's a PG-13 kind of lewd, isn't it, I guess? So we're okay, guys. Hi Rex, how you doing? It's good to see you. How's your day been? So apparently my sub ends on November 3rd, but I will just resub then. I don't know why I could share my sub now. So weird. Yeah, True Baldy, just check your PayPal or something. Just make sure everything's okay. Sometimes Twitch bugs up. I know it's done it for me before. Like I've been subbed to someone and it's come up twice in a month, and I've been like, why has it come up again? Sometimes that can happen, but yeah, just check your accounts and obviously just make sure that the subscription's been cancelled and things, so it doesn't do it twice. I don't want to make you poor, True Baldy. I'll never forgive myself. 6. What's 6? Trick Cheese Weasel. Well, we gotta celebrate it twice. Yay. Okay. So we're just for anyone who's just come in, who's just started hanging out with us, we've been having a lot of discussions today about visual direction with Raindrop Chronicles, having 2 game modes as well, and we've confirmed that we are going to have the pixels be bigger than they used to be. We're going to do a twice zoom in thing, because luckily there's a plugin that lets us have a permanent 2x zoom, and we were doing that for our cutscenes anyway. And it just feels like we might as well keep the whole game like that, because it's a lot more intimate and cosy, seeing our characters and things up a little bit closer, and it doesn't distort the pixels. They look pretty cool, so it's worked out quite well. But unfortunately, it has given us a bit of a bug with dialogue boxes positioning. There's not a compatibility thing with the zoom plugin and the dialogue boxes, so I have to try and figure out where they have to go, basically, and I'm doing a lot of test plays to get them in the right position. But I think that should do it. So I'm going to count that and that should be how it works for every NPC, I'm assuming. Whatever that distance is from the event will probably be the same. So I'll stick with the same pattern. Fingers crossed it's not going to end up too complicated. We're going to celebrate twice, yay. Apologies. It's okay, Cheese. I assume it was a typo. You're forgiven. Rex, how dare you show your butt? I was moving keyboard. Yeah. Settled on a cat in Moscow called Moscow. Yeah, you're doing your fairy tale. Feel free to let us know how it goes, Kermit. I could just let it be a mystery though. Yeah, no, 6 what? I must say I was very curious when you typed in 6. No, cool. You tired? Oh, get some sleep then, Kermit. I need some almond milk, but there's none left. Who should we make now? Let's make True Baldy as a character. Although I don't know what True Baldy looks like, so I'll have to guess. He says he had a haircut though, so we'll give him short hair. I've said you're blonde. I don't even know if you're blonde. Oh no, you just look the same as Butt, who we made before. Oh dear. This can be you, True Baldy. They'll let us name you in a sec. Oh no. Brown, you've got brown hair. Oh no, we'll have to do it properly next time. We've made you blonde. You can pull it off. You'll have to dye it. Would you ever dye it blonde? I wouldn't with me. I've worn a blonde wig before though. I need to figure out why the character is suddenly outside the barrel now as well. Oh no. Okay, so I'd say that the distance, I think the horizontal positioning is fine, but the arrow's a bit off centre. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to solve that then, because when we move it across one, it makes it off centre the other way then. If I put it there, it'll be off centre the other way. Oh, there's got to be. Well, I've got the whole weekend to fix this. We're fine. And I think this cam command here is like what it does when it moves it. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. So what I probably have to do is edit that, maybe. I'll see. Maybe I just needed to delete that script that was up. So yeah, as you can see, lots of little bits and bobs to fix at the moment, and that is mainly because of a few little changes we've made plugin wise and visually, but it's gonna be well worth it because we're gonna have an awesome, even more awesome game. And just so you know, guys, next week's gonna be a skills based week for our streams. We're gonna be discussing skills for both the enemies of the Everbloom Forest and the player. And we'll be thinking about ways we can approach the skills and skill ideas, and how to make the game fun in terms of battle system and skills and stuffs. And we'll consider how other RPGs do it too. Female this time. Don't drink or don't smoke. Truebold is very sensible. Fail to fit into stereotype very often. I'm self-engineering IT administrator and don't drink coffee. I remember the days when I didn't drink coffee. I think I started drinking coffee when I was about 22. I was about 22. What should we call this lady? Can't think. Oh no, you can't even see. I'm sorry, chat. I'm rambling to myself and you couldn't even see. No. You should make Truebaldy really generous, like giving you stuff. Yeah, when Truebaldy's character's in the game, he can be whatever he wants to be, though. He doesn't even have to be himself. He can be somebody different, but you can be you if you want, Truebaldy. We've got a mixture. We've got some people who are themselves, like me. I'm basically me. And there's other people that have like really created a character that's very different from them, with a different name and everything. I liked from Final Fantasy VIII the ability to mug enemies for items. Yeah, and this is a class-based game. If you've been around a while, you'll probably notice that the playable characters will each have their own class, and they're kind of forever that class and specialism. So the mug would be the thief, wouldn't it? And the thief is still up for grabs, guys. The thief is still up for grabs. So if you like mugging, be a playable thief and join the party, because everybody's gonna have their own unique skills. We'll be focusing on warrior, hunter and vampire simply because they're the ones that are in the game now. So warrior and hunter are the playable hero, the custom hero. You're either one of them, you get the choice, and the vampire's me. So we'll be thinking of the skills for them that are related to those more than likely. But we don't need to think of endgame skills yet because we're only on episode 1. We can think of like the skills that those classes could have between level 1 and 10 probably. We'll think of the early game skills. I would like to pop out a gift box which is just there at the edge of the way. Yay! I can't wait to see your character. Gonna head back to writing might return if you're still streaming. Good luck, Kermit. If you want to do you post it in the creative work channel when you've done it, feel free to. Totally can share anything you've done in there that's creative. I may add a new character at some point. I will think about it over the next week. Yeah, once you hit your 500 raindrops, guys, you can enter that character, fill it in whenever you want. And then you'll get a cute little character walking across the screen, which you can't see on this one, but you'll see your character here. We've got a kitty, a dragon, and a vampire hanging out with us today. And eventually, there'll be lots of you walking across. The more characters we get as we go on. I don't know what to call this character, so I'm going to call her that. That's the best name. Oh, wow, GIF. Degojoid GIF. That's her name. Hi, Hannah. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Will you have an enemy skill masterclass? Welcome, Chef. How are you doing? Hope I've said your name right. Enemy skills. What class would fit enemy skills? Beastmaster? I don't know about Beastmaster. It'd be Blue Mage, wouldn't it? I suppose if there was like a Blue Mage or similar kind of class, they would have those abilities. And I don't think we've currently got a Blue Mage inspired class actually in our character form little thing. So we might add it. We've got about 30 classes, honestly. There's a lot. So I'm surprised we haven't got that one there yet. But they'd be the enemy skill person, wouldn't they? Yeah, I posted one of my renders there. No more distractions. Yay. Reptiles, you mean? Yeah. Dragons, reptiles, whatever you want to call them. I say both. They've got wings. They're dragons. I mean, you learn skill from enemies and only from enemies. Only from enemies? Well, I feel like that's the Blue Mage in my opinion. It is, isn't it, guys? Blue Mage, I'm right, aren't I? I'm pretty sure I am. I know Quistis from Final Fantasy VIII, she like had that ability, didn't she? That was blue magic. Kamari was another. But was he a Blue Mage? I don't know. I think he was. Well, he had that Lancet skill, didn't he? And that kind of learned enemy skills. Shapeshifter. That's an interesting one too. I guess it's what's possible. I've said to you guys, basically, if you want to suggest classes for our playable characters, that's fine. As long as RPG Maker can do it. And if it can, then it'll be added. Because sometimes I don't know. I'm actually not that experienced with the skill creation in RPG Maker quite yet. So I need to like I'll learn over time to see what's possible, I guess. Which some of you guys might know. Blue Mage learns monster skills. Beastmaster would have a pet or capture mon. Yeah, I originally said Beastmaster and I was like, no, they actually have the animals with them in the party. Whereas it's the Blue Mage that learns the enemy skills, yeah. FF4, I think you caught them in a jar and release them for one fight. Thinking along the lines of chameleon shapes is doing some way to mimic the look and abilities of the hero temporarily. Oh, now you say that, Cheese, Druid. One of our community members called White went into real detail about this. He actually is the Druid playable character. We haven't done his character sheet yet. It's one of them what we have to do. He says he wants to send some stuff over first, but he's going to like turn into a werewolf and like shapeshift. And he actually, I said to him, I'm not sure how to do that. So he kind of did a demo for me and it showed me and that works. So I completely forgot about that actually. But now you mention that, I remember, yeah, we've got that and it's been taken. Why? What started? So the fact is, guys, if you are there for, we're not going to, playable characters will always be available. There's no limit. We'll have 30 plus if necessary. But one thing is, if someone does take a certain class and get there first, the class will be then unavailable. So all the classes we've already got, like Vampire, Warrior, Hunter, Diplomat, Herbalist, Knight, Sorcerer and Druid, which we haven't done yet, but it is taken. They're already taken, so you just have the oh yeah, and Gunslinger for Akira as well, he's took that. So you have to like pick from what's left basically, but there's always going to be fun ones to pick. I mean, we still have a list of about 30. So there's still a lot of choice for what you could be. And not everybody even wants to be a playable character. Some people would rather be an antagonist or a minor townsperson, like an innkeeper or a blacksmith, or some people just want to be a friend of the party, like an ally. So it's up to you what you want to be, I guess. I want to be a jester. I think like that's very possible. Darkest Dungeon has a jester, a playable character, don't they? I think I know that there's something like that in Darkest Dungeon. But yeah, you don't. Even if you want to like be a certain class, you don't necessarily have to be a playable character. You could just be a townsperson that's a jester. It's all up to you guys with what you want to be. You get the freedom of your choice. Cough, werewolf, cough. Shapes is just changing the avatar. FF8 is kind of a little hard too, but I like FF11 Blue Mage. Oh, FF7. FF11 is one of the Final Fantasies I've not played, so I'm actually very knowledgeable about Final Fantasy series apart from FF11. So yeah, it's the one I didn't play. You need 500 drops for this, right? Yep, that's right, Cheese. ! Project command. It'll explain that. I play the Alchemist. Yeah, we have an Alchemist class. It's there. If you peek at the character forms, you might see, if you click our link tree and go on the FAQ, it's got the forms there, and if you click on them, you might see, if you look through the forms, it'll tell you all the classes that we have got listed, and Alchemist is one of them. But it's, yeah, like I said, it's kind of a race to the 500 drops, so get the class you want before it gets taken, basically. We'll never run out of classes, no matter what. Even in 2 years, we'll probably still have a fair few classes for people who are new to the stream when we're near the end of the game. But you know, the most wanted classes will get taken first for whoever fills in a form first. Guys, you should sub to earn raindrops more quick. Yeah, there's that. I mean, we don't get like new characters forms filled in left, right, and centre. We get like a new one filled in once every couple of weeks, maybe. So we're at an okay speed at the moment. We're not getting loads in, but I have said if we do get loads coming in at once, like say if we end up with 10 in a week, then I'd have to start increasing the amount of raindrops required, because I won't be able to keep up with it all otherwise. But at the moment it's a reasonable, I think it's reasonable. If I need drop, I won't have enough probably. I'm here so little time. Well, depends. We had Juice. Juice was new to the stream about a month ago. Maybe a little bit more than a month now, and he's already got the 500 drops. He got the 500 drops last week. So anything's possible. Was working, but heard 11 mentioned. Any reference from it that confused you, Rose? I'm happy to put in terms of another FF. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if somebody's going to give me an example of FF11, I'm probably not going to know it. So I'll probably need a video or another FF as an example. But at the same time, guys, I'm going to be firm about this. When we have our skills stream next week, I don't want to be discussing irrelevant skills that aren't in the game yet. I want to talk about the skills that are in the game. So I know we've been talking about Blue Mage and things like that, but we don't need to talk about Blue Mage because we don't have a Blue Mage in the game yet. We want to talk about the warrior, the hunter, and the vampire, and the enemies that we've got in the Everbloom Forest as well, the flower and the bee and the deer and the tree. We'll have to think about them and their skills, because it can get a bit overwhelming if we like having all this information that isn't even irrelevant to current classes in the game. Obviously, we'll get there at some point in the future, whenever, if that class ever joins the party, and that'll be the time to think about it then. It doesn't take long, 1 month. Yeah, Elite as well. Elites have been around about a month, haven't you? Or coming on to a month. Yeah, 3 weeks. And look, Elite's proved it. You can get those raindrops. I guess it depends how determined you are and how like involved in the community you are. And Elite has been. So it's it's a month at the moment for a dedicated lurker, but it could change in time. Like say if, for example, the stream had a lot of growth, and we had a lot of new people, and a lot of them were getting the 500 drops, and I'd probably increase it to 800 drops to be a character in the game, or 1,000, if that ever happened. But it isn't at that. It isn't a worry at the moment, so don't worry, I'm not increasing Raindrops, guys, yet. That's only, you know, what's the word, hypothetical if it happens. So no panic. It's staying at 500 Raindrops as the community is now. So yeah, and this is a long-term project as well. We're not, this game is not going to be finished next year. We got episode 1 will be out next year, and it's a long-term, very long-term thing, that's going to have a number of episodes over time. So you know, there's no rush at all. Some of these characters aren't even going to get introduced in even the first 2 episodes. It's all it's all improvised, and we don't know who we're going to meet in the next city or the next town, or could be anybody, wherever the story takes us. It seems as if I'm not active enough. No pressure at all, True Baldy. I mean, Elite has been lurking every single second of the stream for the last 3 weeks, I think, to be able to get those Raindrops, and it's a lot, you know, it's a lot of dedication there. You've done fantastic, True Baldy. You appreciate your tons. Okay, so ready. Let's test that now. I'm doing so much testing today, and I'll probably be more effective doing all this testing off stream, but I will get it done for Monday. That's the goal. Have a very non-buggy game by Monday, so we can move on to our other exciting stuff. Yeah, it still hasn't centered. Basically, the goal is to get Carol the Barrel and the playable hero in the centre of the screen. They're way too low at the moment, and I think it's the camera positioning, that's what it is. So I have to have a bit of a mess around and test of that. It's a fun system. For those that don't know, you can learn hundreds of enemy abilities and spells, but you have a limited number you can set as unusable at any one time. There are more complexities, but that's the basics, yeah. And from what I gather, that's how you learn everything in Final Fantasy XI, right? They're just enemy skills. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm only assuming that because Chef mentioned that's how he likes skill systems to be. So I assume Final Fantasy XI is like that. I will give you my character since you gave me a sub. If Rose is okay with that, I can make mine when you get to 500 drops. No, Ellie, you do your character, guys. Fine. True Baldy's very close. He'll get there. Don't worry. You'll get there, True Baldy. We believe in you. You're super close anyway. We do not change and fall around like that. It's no race, guys, at all. It's no race. Don't feel pressured or think, I've got to get those 500 drops now. I've got to get them now. And you know what I mean? This is take it a step at a time. It's no rush. Like, this is pretty slow paced. We're not going to even be out of the Everbloom Forest until probably this year. You know, maybe even, it's hard to say. And we've only met Rose. Rose is the only character we've met so far out of all those characters that people have done. And there's a chance that there's probably not going to be many that are going to be in episode 1. Maybe there'll be a couple more that are in episode 1, but not many. Some I'm pretty sure probably won't even get introduced until halfway through the game. We just don't know, because we improvise the story. I have a cool idea already for my character, but I should keep a secret for now. Yeah, and it's all up to you guys when your character gets introduced, to be honest. I mean, I might sneakily introduce them in for all you know. But as you know, if you've read the FAQ page and stuff, we write the story in bits, and the next part of the story is going to be Rose's sacrifice. Chapter 1 part 3 that'll be, and we'll do like a little Instagram visual for that as well, like we've been doing. Let's do the story command, !mark story. Yeah, so we tend to post the story as we write it on Instagram, and so if you're curious, have a look on there. We've got 2 so far, and we've got the 3rd one coming up. And I always start it off. I always start the paragraph off, and who knows, maybe sometimes when we do those, I'll introduce one of the characters in the story, like I did for Rose, because I introduced me. If it wasn't for me introducing myself, Rose wouldn't even be in the story yet. So, but you guys have the option to do it too, because the community get to submit story ideas that follow on from that sentence that I write. And if your submission wins and gets the votes, the most votes, that's the direction we go. So, yeah, you guys have to come up with something really cool and awesome so you get loads of votes. So you're the one who took the Mars rover. You had my curiosity and your attention, yeah. Oh, let me catch up with chat because I'm confused with what's going on. I'm excited to sit here and read more about character trees when the time comes. The rest of the mages, for example, they learn their spells from scrolls which are obtained from quests, shops or enemy drops. Yeah, that's really cool too, because we do have a sorcerer in the game. If you've looked at the character sheets, you might have noticed we have a sorcerer. So I guess it's considering how each class will learn all their skills for sure. But we don't need to think about the sorcerer yet because he's not in the game. But he will be one day. He's a confirmed character, so we know for sure there will be one in it. But there's a lot of classes there in the character form that might never get taken. So for example, we've got psychic there, which is a really cool class, I think, but it might never get taken for all we know. It might just sit there forever. But the option's there for those as characters. Okay, so it's a little bit off centre, that is, and I need to try and figure out how to fix that because it's a bit of a butt face. We can get it working now. Maybe I can just resize the box a bit and that'll fix it. So, yeah, is there anything else today to do, really? That's just all my random notes I've made on my notepad. But let me have a look. Yeah, most of the stuff I have to do is very much bug fixing and adding little bits, and I'm going to be putting all that together over the weekend, and that'll be exciting because then when the sats are done, it's really hard to focus on new things when there's lots of stuff to fix and do. I don't like to make my list too big, pardon me. Learning skills could use the morrowing etc. route that you have to find an NPC to train you. Yeah, we'll have a chat about that next week because we kind of do. I mean, I'm going to just give you guys, I'm going to do another test play very quickly. I just want to make you all aware of one thing that we do know about our skill system. But I'm sure there's flexibility for how it all could work, but let's just open it up. We'll get Jesus open. Oh no, damn it. Type error. I think that's because we had added a new plugin. Sometimes you have to start a new game when you add a plugin or you get a type error, I've noticed. We'll do that one. I think his will work. Yeah, there we go. So one thing, I'll just get this up so you all know. Skill tree. We're going to have a skill tree system simply because skill trees are amazing and we love them and they're perfect for class-based sort of games where the characters have their own specialised class. The first thing I thought about really was that there could be different branches, of course, with something like this. For warrior, for example, there could be different types of warriors you could be. Because some of you might have different ideas for how a warrior could be. You can have a warrior that's more of a debuffer and someone that kind of makes the enemies weaker. I know that Auron from Final Fantasy X was like that. He debuffed enemies, like lowered their strength and things like that. and he was really good with armoured things or things with hard shells. So that's the top one type of warrior, but then you can have another type of warrior that's more of a physical attacker, so less of a debuffer but more of someone that is just physically really strong. I suppose there's like different routes for warriors and the whole branching paths. I know like Borderlands is a sort of game that has a skill tree with different ones that you could, like different types of routes you can go down for your class, and I'm sure there's loads of other games as well that have skill trees where you do that. It's pretty common. Horizon Zero Dawn kind of do it too, but eventually the whole point is you get enough points and you're that strong and powerful that you can beat all of them. But you always have to, at first, when you're limited, you can only pick certain ones, kind of thing. So it's like your traditional, it could be like a traditional sort of skill tree. Lucas, thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing well. But I guess there's a lot of things to fill in with that. Like, what do you need to learn a skill? Like, how does it unlock? First things that sprung to mind was class points. Like, something like you get class points from killing enemies, and once you get enough, like say if you've got 200 class points, you can unlock a skill. That's like the basic one. But sometimes, like you mentioned, I think you mean this, Azria, like maybe you can't go to your skill tree. Maybe it's not always available from the menu. Maybe you can only go to a trainer to do it. That's a possibility as well. Like, because at the moment it's just always in the menu. That's the default. But I think the plugin does allow you to only use the skill tree at certain times. So that's always an option too, to only have the skill tree open if you talk to an actual trainer in a village or something. So that's something we can all discuss and see how we can make use of this and make it like unique and fun and awesome and exciting and not boring, basically. Basically that's why I want next week's discussion to be about. We can just talk about how it'll be best, what the best direction for handling the skill tree is, and how it can be a really fun skill tree, really. I prefer points to be gained from battles, though, and maybe certain events. Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to have to consider, like how we'll get those class points. And the straightforward, obvious one is from battles. You kill a certain monster, or you kill a boss, and you'll get a bunch of class points along with loot, right? Then when you've got accumulated enough of those points, you'll be able to unlock one of these little squares. It's got warrior skill 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in at the moment. That's because we don't know what the skills are. But when we think of them, we can make it all pretty. And this is a lot of customization as well. We can add like custom graphics and images to this skill tree, and we can make it look really appealing. So I do really like this plugin for that. Ability to do that. And we've talked about class skills. So we've got warrior, we've got hunter, we've got vampire, we've got sorcerer, etc., etc. But me and Akira, we kind of like thought that there could be a sort of racial skill tree as well, like for what race you are, because like for somebody like who's an elf playable character, they might have something unique to their race that a human wouldn't, and a fairy or a reptile or you know what I mean, they're unique and they might have some. So there could be another skill tree for that too, because the good thing about this plugin is that you can have multiple skill trees. There doesn't have to just be one. So yeah, but most of all I think flexibility is cool. Like, people will want to think that they can have their warrior be how they want their warrior to be, you know what I mean? Like, there'll be different ways to shape your warrior or your hunter or your vampire. Like, nobody wants just a single branch, do they? Like a linear skill tree. People want it to split and to have options and think, I'm going to go for a physical strength warrior, or no, I'm going to go for a warrior that does debuffing. And there'll be different builds, basically. A skill tree that offers different builds with branching paths. that's kind of something that could be really cool. But I need you guys to help for that. We're going to talk about what those different builds could be and what the skills inside those builds could be, basically, and we'll make them and make the skill tree look really cool, but only for warrior, hunter and vampire for now, okay guys? I know that it's exciting to talk about the other classes and be like, oh, but I like blue mages, I like sorcerers, and start thinking about them, which is all really great. And obviously there's nothing wrong with thinking about that if you want to, but mainly we'll primarily be discussing the classes that are currently in the game, just for time reasons and to make sure we don't get easily distracted and go off focus. So yep, that'll be something fun for next week. Hi Juice, how are you doing today? It's so good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. How has your week been treating you? I can't believe it's the last stream of the week, guys, but it's kind of useful that it is the last stream of the week because I've got 3 days now to fix those bugs. It can be really difficult to fix bugs on stream. Things like that I do prefer doing off stream because I can focus more. So having these 3 days off will be handy so I can get all that sorted, and then we can start Monday with really focusing on the skills and getting done with that. Just a little bit busy today, yay. So I'm letting you guys know so you're all prepared. Between now and Monday we're gonna we'll mix it up. We'll focus a bit on warrior, hunter and vampire, I think, but it's not just about the player skills, it's about the enemies as well. And I'll just open the database before we end stream today to show you what we've got so far. Enemies, skills, like, yeah, these are enemies. We've only got the 4 so far, but we do have a few new ones to introduce. We've got a deer, we've got a tree, and we've got a tree stump. So those will have to get added to the database as well. We kind of have already done the plant and the mushroom. You can see their skills there. We had like a stream several months back where we discussed, well, not several months back, a few months back in the summer, where we discussed those skills, and we kind of haven't revisited it since. But the skills actually go here. So I'm putting the enemy skills at the top. I've got them all there ready. They're just all blank. Kind of thinking 3 skills per enemy on average. It feels like that's a good formula. And a good balance of skills. The bosses might have more skills though. We'll decide that when the time comes. And the player skills, I'm going to keep them at the bottom. So I've got warrior, and I put warrior skill 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and that'll just work backwards with them because it's the best way I think I can do it, because it's really, I don't really want to mix the enemy skills and player skills too much. I'll get a bit confused, so I'll do it this way. And yeah, so we don't know how many skills the warrior's going to end up having, and it's really hard to think about that for now because it's episodic, and I don't really want to think about endgame skills yet, but we'll think about skills from level 1 to 10, I'd say, or something like that, or even just level 1 to 5 at this point with the Everbloom Forest. We definitely just want to think of those first few skills that the warrior could have. And same for the hunter and the vampire. We'll look at other games that have those sort of classes and see what they do. And we'll make them and we'll test them and we'll see how it works, how the battles work, and if they're balanced enough. Give the enemies the right amount of HP they need and stuff. We don't want the battles to be too easy, but we don't want them to be too hard either. And the skills can be really tricky to set up. I kind of like coming up with the skill idea and thinking, oh yeah, that's a really cool skill to have, like something like that. But then thinking, oh my God, how do I get it working in RPG Maker? That can be the bit I struggle with because it involves maths and formulas and all that kind of thing. But that's why we've got the RPG Maker forums and a community to help us and get it all sorted. So yeah, so I'm excited for that. So we're gonna pass a stream to somebody else who's online now, I'd say, because we're coming towards 6 p.m. and that's when I finish up. I've got an itchy nose. The game is looking so good right now. Thank you, Juice. We've done a couple of, like, we talked about a few little changes today. We've decided to make the game look a bit closer than it did before, because the sprites were quite small before, and because they were on full screen, they made them look even smaller. So we've kind of zoomed in a bit now, and I think we kind of all agreed that it looks really cool like that. And there's a couple of little bugs I have to fix because of that change, but we'll get there. And we decided to introduce game modes as well. The player will get a choice between 2 game modes. One with the UI, so you get to play the game with quest markers, indicators to tell you where to go and stuff. The more accessible kind of game mode. But then there'll also be a second game mode where UI doesn't exist. There's no quest markers, there's nothing that tells you anything, and that's going to be the blind immersive hard mode. Because I feel like our community seemed quite split. There's been a lot of people here that say that they really like games without quest markers, and there's been some that love the quest markers. I'm personally one that love quest markers and being told where to go, because I don't like missing quests. I like to make sure I've got all the quests, and without those quest markers you can miss stuff. But that's just me. It's all very, like, everybody's different. And so we get the best of both worlds that way, and it's a really easy thing to set up too. It's just like a simple switch on and off, and it feels worth it because then people can get the game experience that they want from Raindrop Chronicles. I've been watching some of the YouTube videos. You've come a long way. Thank you, Juice. We're slowly getting there, putting it together bit by bit. Sometimes it can feel a bit slow because you get hold-ups, don't you? And that happens, but I do feel we've definitely got far over the streams. I mean, it's the 50th stream today, so we've come a long way since the early streams, I guess, for sure. And it makes me think where we're going to be by stream 100. I wonder where we'll be by the 100th stream. We'll probably look back at the 50th stream and be like, wow, that we've come a long way since stream number 50, and that's a really cool and awesome feeling, in my opinion. So I'm excited, guys, and I'm gonna we'll leave you with the website. It's not ready yet, but it's there. Feel free to bookmark it and everything. So you can. I'll be announcing when it's all launched and up and running, and that'll be super exciting. But we're going to go pass the love to someone, chat. So I'd super appreciate if you come with me and we go say hi to someone together before I have to have my dinner. Who's going to come? Who's going to come for the raid? All you need to do is type in Rose Raid Blood in the chat with an emote of your choice, guys. And you can go off and do your own thing if you'd like. But would super appreciate you coming along to pass the love. And I am going to make sure that whoever I'm going to raid is online, because sometimes they go off the second I finish stream. So I'm going to get the stream up, make sure they're not going offline. Have a peek, see if they're still streaming. And we got ads now. We have to wait 30 seconds for the ads. Yeah, thank you guys for joining with the raid. I appreciate you all for coming along. Okay, so I found somebody, but I'm waiting for this ad to finish to make sure they're still on. So it's going to be Willow Scale, because I told her that I was going to raid her. I basically said to Willow Scale that I need to raid you, but you always go offline before me. So whenever you're still online when I'm streaming, I'll be raiding you. So we'll go and say hi to Widowscale. She's playing Elder Scrolls Online, so if you are a fan of those good old Elder Scroll games, you'll definitely like this stream. Right, so I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much for hanging out. You're all the best. Have an awesome weekend, chat. I miss you all.